with the RMC Paladins in the 36th. This date on their calendars.
Well, the entire city circles this date on the calendar, Alan, but you're right. Both teams do, because I have yet to see one of these not be a competitive affair. No matter where they are in the standings, this game is played like a playoff game. This year, Gaels are going to the playoffs. RMC's got a couple of games left in their season, but they want to win this game probably more than any other game all season.
Well, I'm glad you touched on the standings, because when you look at them and you see Queens, they sit fourth in the OUA's Eastern Conference with a win-loss record of 17 wins, 8 losses, 1 overtime loss, good enough for 35 points on the year. And then you look at RMC and they sit with just 14 points. You say this one's going to be a mismatch, but you can throw that out the window when these two limestone locals go toe-to-toe, because as much as, yeah, there's 2 points on the line and there's a trophy, the Carr-Harris Cup, there's also bragging rights and pride on the line between these two crosstown rivals.
Oh, for sure, Alan. And I think the key is, it's, as you said, the longest hockey rivalry on the globe. And these two teams, I mean, they're playing for a trophy, as you said. And there's something special about that, because only one team in the OUA can win the Queen's Cup. And this one, for these two rivals, you're right. It's neither team wants to have the sting of having to wait till next February to get revenge for losing tonight.
Well, I know, talking to both sides over the years, and there's been some close one-goal games. There's been a couple of overtime ones of recent history, and you talk to each coach towards the end of the year, and they both say, I can't wait to get back out there for the next edition so that we can kind of get out there and get some redemption in that regard. And for the Queens Gaels this year, I know last year was a bit of a trying season for them, but this year, you said it, they're back to the postseason, and tonight could determine whether or not they're starting at home or on the road against the Concordia Stingers.
Well, and don't kid yourself on that. Having that third game at the Memorial Center and not having to go to Montreal and play at Concordia, if that series goes to full 3 games, is critical if you're the Gaels. I mean, this game's a special game. It gets played on a neutral ice at the Leon Center. Huge crowd comes out from representing both schools. It's just a pomp and circumstance, and then once the puck gets dropped, it's a championship atmosphere to the game and to the event.
You nailed it there with the student bodies both showing up, and you heard it when the teams came out. The Queens Gaels, because RMC is the quote-unquote home team, they're hosting it this year. The Queens Gaels come out, and they are serenaded with booze. The RMC comes out, and their cadets show up, their alumni show up, past supporters show up, and they come out to a roaring support from the red and white faithful, and it creates that great atmosphere here between these two student bodies, these schools that has a long-standing tradition. And it should be no surprise, these two, a lot of these players have played with each other, they've played against each other in the ranks coming up through. They see each other across town at the different establishments, the restaurants, and so they've all been kind of going back and forth all year. And add the wrinkle into it that the Queens Gaels have had the RMC Paladins number this year to this point, and it means that this sets the stage for what should be an entertaining one where anything can happen, and usually does.
Exactly, and it's been since 2019 that RMC's gotten to celebrate as the victors in this annual game. So there's something there, and again, RMC's season's coming to an end on the weekend when they play their final regular season game, and they'd really love to go into the off season and the training, getting ready for next season with the Carr-Harris Cup.
And I think back to last year's game too, and Queens has a fully loaded lineup, and a lot of people wrote off RMC, but they kept it close. It was a 1-1 game. It went to overtime. Alex Roberts scored the eventual overtime winner for the Queens Gaels in what was just a goalmouth scramble. The puck was loose. He kept on and was able to knock it over the line. But that has stuck in the backs of the minds of the RMC Paladins, how they were so close but just couldn't get it done against the Queens Gaels in a tough situation. We're just wrapping up the opening ceremonies here at the Leon Center as puck drop scheduled for roughly 5 minutes from now, when these two teams will write a new chapter in what is sure to be an entertaining one. I always hype it up across town as probably the best game that you will see at any level this season, just because of the sheer fact that it is pride on the line on top of that trophy, and these two teams like to leave everything out there. I think back to some of the past ones, and right from opening puck drop, there's maybe a 5-10 minute window where these two teams are almost letting the nerves get the better of them. And I know Alex Robert talked about it this week doing interviews, and some of the Paladins have talked about it, how when you come out in that opening faceoff, you're not used to playing in front of this kind of crowd, this type of atmosphere. You come out, it kind of takes you back a little bit.
Well, and you only play on this ice surface once every year. So it's not the Memorial Center, it's not Constantine Arena. And I mean, you can't, you can talk about it over and over, and I keep thinking each year the Carr-Harris Cup can't outdo itself, and it does each year. And again, it's a championship game between two local rivals, and you don't see that many other places.
Also worth noting this year, while we're talking about rivalries and Queens and RMC back in the day, used to play a game in the Inner Harbor there at by Confederation Basin. Square pucks, they used to have to drill the holes to get the goalposts in there. With warmer weather, not able to do it, but the historic hockey series is back this year, and it'll happen Sunday over in Market Square. That's one of the benefits to having that, as long as the weather cooperates, because I know the rink was shut down. They're trying to get it ready for that, but it is scheduled to return this year. And as we mentioned that, they are coming out in the traditional uniforms that you will see in the historic hockey series, which the one wrinkle that really sets it for me is the square puck.
Yes.
It's not something you see every day.
Yeah, and again, what the city has done and both schools have done in the last bit to make this part of a bigger weekend of local hockey with, as you say, the games on Sunday. You've got the Frontenacs playing tomorrow. Feb Fest in the past has been around this. I just think it's you get this Leon's Place jumping. These two teams playing at a high level each time. It's just a fantastic game that I wish we'd drop the puck to.
Well, and you mentioned dropping the puck. They just did the ceremonial face-off, and this is a nice little twist this year because it doesn't happen every season. But for the ceremonial face-off, both teams represented by their captains. Chris Paquette, a local kid, Jack Duff, a local kid, both came up playing in the GK system here in Kingston. So that's a nice little twist this year for a truly Kingstonian feel to this event.
Wow, and exactly right, Alan. And plus, you got to know as younger hockey players that they came here and watched some Carr-Harris Cups, and now they may get a say in tonight's outcome.
So we'll just hand it over for the anthems here at Leon Center before we bring you the eventual puck drop between these two rivals in the 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup.
Histoire
great rendition of our nation's anthem, and we are almost set to go in this one as they clear off the carpets. Everybody heads for their seats. The teams will loosen up their muscles and get that stretched out, and then we will bring you the first period of this one between the Queens Gaels and the RMC Paladins in the 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup. And while we've got a second, why don't we take a look at a couple of players who might factor into this game in a big equation this evening. And it should be no surprise that we see two offensive dynamos for their respective teams clashing here tonight in Dalton Dewart and Chris Paquette. Dewart comes out of Grand Blanc, Michigan with 15 goals and 26 assists on the year to give him 41 points. And for Dewart, before arriving here with the Queens Gaels, was a member of the Saginaw Spirit, who, funny enough, will be this year's Memorial Cup host. And then on the other side of it, it's Kingston's own Chris Paquette, the captain of the Paladins, played his minor hockey here in Kingston, went on to an OHL career split between Niagara and Peterborough before being drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning and landing here with RMC. And your starting netminders for tonight's game, the Paladins have tapped their veteran in Michael Davis. I know you look at the stat line for him, Bill, and it doesn't look overly impressive, but there has been many times this year where he has stood on his head and given the Paladins a chance when they didn't deserve one. And then down at the other end for the Gaels, they have tapped Christian Purbu to get the nod. A former Sudbury Wolf in his day, has been stellar and absolutely spectacular for the Queens Gaels, and that is shown by his sparkling 192 goals against and 932 save percentage. Your quartet of officials for this one, Danny Emerson and Brad Moore, will take care of the penalties. Brandon Labarge and Marco McRae will work the lines, and it looks like we are just about set to go as Chris Paquette wades into the circle to go head-to-head with another Kingston kid, Hayden Fowler. The fans are raucous, they're ready to go, and we are off and running in the 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup. At the line, it's swatted back up ice by Paquette, and there's Pym roping that one to the line of the Gales zone. It's over to Jacob Paquette, quickly up the wing, just missed Yancez, but he did get a piece as Davis comes out of the net. On the backhand, spun that to the wing. They try to go back to the point, and that one gets past Paquette, so Jack Duff will race and pick this one up. Duff is fished out from behind the net, but brings it right through the middle. He's over the center line and snaps that one off the end boards. Coming in was Jonathan Yancey. Will pick that one up in the far corner as he takes a hit from Josh Spratt. There's Spratt poking away at it, and he'll find Brent Broaders rink wide. Skating on to this one was Bruce Coulthard. Tried to spring Spratt, couldn't get around the long reach of Duff, and that is Jack Duff finding this one in the corner. Duff lifts it over everybody and sends the Paladins back out to the center line before they fire it in. Both teams starting their first changes just a minute into period number one. A big hit thrown in the corner, much to the delight of the RMC fans in attendance. Here's Light Body that wristed it off a body, sends it over the glass and home for a souvenir for somebody here as it brings us to our first stoppage.
And exactly what we talked about in the opening, Alan. 68 seconds into this one. Good pace to it. Teams feeling each other out. Couple big hits by RMC. And I think what RMC wants to do is really try and grind this one down. They don't want to get into a shootout with the Gaels.
You're absolutely right on that one, Bill. You don't want to play that fire wagon style of hockey with the Queens Gaels. Slow it down, play whistle to whistle if you're RMC, and that's probably your best shot at snagging another Carr-Harris Cup for the trophy case over at Constantine Arena. Light Body couldn't battle through that check. Hamilton just slapped it to the middle, got away from the intended target, and the Paladins are with it. Welton went rink wide, missed Saint. Also Paquette overskated it. Now it's Derek Hamilton. Lots of local kids in this one as Hamilton went to Katzele, and then it's floated behind the RMC line. Pym wristed this one up the line, and Lucas Perrick found that one. It's kicked free from the corner. And that's grinded out by the Paladins as Ryan Smith tries the backboards all the way to the left wing. Austin Saint trouble with it. It was in his armor. Now it falls down. With it was Smith out at center. There's Perrick with a little backhand shovel pass. They'll get this one under wraps, and now Daniel Michaud sends it onto the stick of Thomas Stevenson off the boards. It finds a home there, and last year's overtime winner, Alex Robert, behind the net. The Paladins slow to get it, but they do find it. Here's Moreau, way up for Fox. One-handed to Service in on Purbu. He'll smother that one as Liam Service comes in to force his hand on that one.
No real chances yet, like what RMC's doing in their own zone, keeping the Gaels on the perimeter and immediately getting the puck out of their zone when they get it, and have a offensive zone face-off.
It will feature Josh Spratt for RMC winning this one at the right point. There's Moreau with trouble as he was pressured by Nolan Hutchison. Spratt gets the dump in off the circle. He had his stick lifted. It'll be cleared by the Gaels, although icing is signaled. And as Moreau arrives, it will be called. Both of these teams, we talked about it, how the schedule winding up for them. The Paladins will play the York Lions on Saturday afternoon over at Constantine Arena on Seniors Day. And for the Queens Gaels, their season will wrap up Saturday as well, but they will meet the Ontario Tech Ridgebacks in their season finale. Puck is down, Spratt swept it back. Here's Moreau from the line, blocked by Hutchison. It's a foot race. Nolan Hutchison, out comes Davis, and he'll backhand this one right into the armor of Hutchison, who whips it through the slot at the line. Duff got to it, he sends it to the net, and Davis got back there quickly. But maybe the nerves getting a little bit, thought he could play it and put it right into Hutchison.
Wow, nice smile there on the face of Davis.
He planned that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just wanted a little action to get himself into this game as we see it again. And he, you know, just had a bad break that went off the Gaels' Hutchison and made a little bit more trouble than Davis had wanted when he came out to play the puck.
Queens with possession off that drop, and Duff's shot never got to the net. Paladins clog the slot to the boards, though it's found and carried down by Samuel Marburg behind the net. He shoveled that one off, and then at the line, Duff got twisted up, and so out to center, he'll pick that one up and feed Paquette from the line. That's Jacob Paquette, 2 in this game. Jacob for the Gaels and Chris for the Paladins. That one goes across the blue line, and now Jacob Paquette. He's stuffed there on his entry, and that will create an offside whistle with 3.5 gone so far in period number 1. Glad you could join us, whether it's on OUA TV or whatever other medium you might be streaming us here tonight. It's great to have you along. Good crowd at the Leon Center taking this one in, and I'm sure that there are many parents, family members, friends watching from home and across the country. Cat able to knife this one back for light body. They go to that weak side, and then Welton will get the deflection in the hunt for it is Bruce McNaughton. He was locked up, though couldn't do much with it. Now Jacob Bratney for the Gaels will try, and he lost it in a battle against Chris Paquette. The cycle was trying to be worked by RMC. Austin Saint knocked off of it at the line. Light body kicks it free, and here's Chris Paquette. Played it up the boards, nobody home there. This will be Owen Lalonde over for Bratney. Deflected in by Hutchison, off he goes. No further pressure from the Gaels as light body will set up behind the net. Put it right into the body of the oncoming Jonathan Yancey, and this will create trouble as he maneuvers this one back to the line. Perrick got the legs moving, opened up a lane and fired it in there as Davis made the stop. Now Perrick again from well out. That one skips right into the pads of Davis. In the corner, Paquette tried to carry out, lost it. Now light body's to it. He'll give it over to Moreau from the corner. Nobody able to wrangle it in. It will come all the way out to center, and here's Holden Katzele fresh off the bench. He'll pump this one back into the Paladins zone. To it is Moreau, put it right off the stick of Katzele. RMC finds themselves at the end of a shift here. Gaels are going to look to capitalize. It's Katzele off the boards. Cycled it back down low and found Derek Hamilton. Rink wide at the right point. Hesitating was defenseman Thomas Stevenson. Finally fired it in, but the blocker of Davis got there. Trying to sweep it out was Nathan Fox, could not. Here's Duarte, angled away by Leduc, puck up for grabs, Gaels back to it. They have been winning the battles along the boards, and the Paladins are going to have to steer that ship the other way. Falling was Duarte, that's Leduc, freeing it up, and now they'll try to clear RMC will, but not successfully.
Great pressure here by the Gaels.
Fantastic, they just kept the foot on the gas pedal and did not leave it.
Another block.
Yeah, that was Daniel Michaud coming up with it over there. Katzele on Smith. Paladins are dog-tired right now. It's Duff to it at center. Over for Jacob Paquette. Paladins sneak a change in here as the Gaels come back through, and the one-timer from Cameron Tolnay was whiffed on. Former Ottawa 67 back at the line. Duff had trouble handling that. got her on the check and Spratt. Back in it goes, and Davis comes out to knock this one down. 4-0 shots on goal right now for the Queens Gaels as we have played 6 minutes. RMC fans trying to urge their team on. Holtrop overskates that one on entry. Bratney to Duff, and then back to Bratney it goes. Rink wide, gets just a hair past the stick of Alex Robert, the former Navan grad, would know Will Murray very well. Holtrop flattens Tolnay there with a little forearm shimmy. Out to center ice, knocked away from the stick of Broaders. Paladins are going to slow things up a little bit after some anxious moments. Matthew Hebert to the middle, finds Liam's service. Out of the Powassan Voodoo's program, got this one in. Prubu comes out just for some action because it's been so long. Played it, left it to Lalonde. He's flattened by Service in there. The centering attempt was blocked by Bratney on the wing. Chipped out by Queens in the hunt for it. And chasing this one down will be Marburg. Behind the place of pushing and shoving, and the fans love that. At the point, a wild shot from Cousins misses. Off the line though, coming in deep was Stevenson. Back at the circle, big hit thrown in behind the play by an oncoming Colton Cousins, and then joining the party was Darren Kapp. The emotion ratcheted up here in the last 30 seconds or so, and the fans here, and I gotta say I'm loving it as well. Here's Moreau. Shakes a check and finds Saint up to Paquette. Those are the two snipers for the Paladins. Here comes Paquette. His shot blocked by a sprawling Lucas Perrick. In the slot, good numbers by the Gaels as Nolan Hutchison able to lug this one the other way. He chipped it in deep and levels a hit on Moreau. Driving through with it was Fowler, and now off the line he'll risk one, and Michael Davis gets this one for a face-off.
So a lot happened there, Alan. RMC picked up the physical play again, but this time the Gaels answered it with some hits of their own, and that got their crowd going.
Did it ever. It got the student body here in attendance right into it. And one of the wrinkles of the Carr-Harris Cup this year is that every so often they'll have this, we'll call it the media timeout, even though we aren't going to break. But they do it, and it allows some crowd work and the fanfare to happen, but it gives us an opportunity to just kind of catch our breath. It has been a hot start to this one. I know the Gaels have held the possession so far, but it has been entertaining.
Well, and good stretches, 2-minute stretches between face-offs. RMC's getting themselves, Gaels are using good stick work, active sticks, to knock down passes in the RMC zone, and RMC's getting themselves into some trouble that way. Certainly the one sequence where the Gaels seem to have the puck in the RMC zone for a day and a half, but again, a lot of the shots by the Gaels, goaltender Davis is seeing them. So I think RMC's doing a good job keeping his line of vision open, but they're going to have to be better in their own zone and not turn over the puck, because those turnovers will come back to bite them.
While we're talking about shots, they are currently 5-0 for the Queens Gaels, so the Paladins in search of their first one as we have played 7:41 of the opening frame, and it remains a scoreless affair here in the 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup. Over the left side of Michael Davis is where they drop it, and the Paladins clear this one out, and it ends up being a foot race. Devin Leduc against Jacob Paquette down to the line, and no icing. It'll be retrieved by Nathan Fox to the right point, light body. His drive misses, comes back to the slot, knocked away by Duff. They'll chip it up the boards, and that one knocked down and carried out by Nolan Hutchison. He sends Jonathan Yancey on a race as light body gets there for the Paladins. Out to the left wing, nobody home. Owen Lalonde will take that. Wanted to work his way in, lost it against Fox. It went rink wide and skips over the stick of Leduc. This is Bratney the other way. Yancey's off the circle, nice move there to break in. Yancey's in front. He was turned aside as I don't think he ever got a shot off. Here's Lalonde at the blue line. His drive was blocked, gets another crack. This one's off a shin pad and off course. Almost was dumped into the Paladins bench over there.
I don't think Yancey's got a shot off either, Alan. Made a great move, but just couldn't test Davis.
Here's Hebert right down Main Street, and Leduc was sent off stride. To it quickly is Bratney over there, finds Lalonde, and he'll spring Derek Hamilton in stride. He's it up into the blue line, gave that one to the wing. Katzelay's shot is sent aside by Davis, another one in, and he'll swat that one away as Hebert gathers it. Way up for McNaughton as he comes in. McNaughton off that right wing, uses the boards, tries to help himself, couldn't reach it. There's Spratt though, pushed it back down low, and then the Gaels with numbers able to break that down. Duarte over to Hamilton and then in. One of the knocks against Derek Hamilton was everybody always thought he was too small, but with 9 goals and 12 assists in an OUA season, he's proving them all wrong as this one is whistled for icing against the RMC Paladins.
We saw a rush there by the Gaels where they got out, they broke out 3-on-2. RMC wants to be really careful about that. Gaels showing their speed and probably their best chance. Here's that chance for Jancis, and again, I think he just lost it, and that's off that chance off the 3-on-2. So RMC needs to be careful. They're starting to let it get opened up.
Big blast from Duff, and square on it is Michael Davis, right off the face-off win by the Gaels. Illustrating why it's so critical to have good face-off guys in the game these days. Everything comes from those face-offs, and Cameron Tolnay, one of the best out of the Ottawa 67s program. He will go up against Josh Spratt, who spent his last junior year with the Hawkesbury Hawks of the Central Canadian Hockey League, the Ottawa Junior A Loop. Cutting in was Joel Holtrop, and he lost that one. Joining the rush up ice, that's Jacob Paquette. Centering pass was blocked by Coltart. Just missed Broaders with it, but he clogged the lane and comes back onto him. Through the middle, Spratt dances left, shot in there. Purbu's first stop is a glove save from the edge of the crease. And I'm sure he's happy to get that one out of the way.
They gave it a shot on goal, but I don't know, Alan. I think that was going wide. Purbu more caught that just to get a feel for the puck.
It's been almost 10 minutes. He hasn't seen an official shot, a couple dump-ins by the Paladins, but nothing else from there as he looks for some action. You might get it as Chris Paquette steps in against Holden Katzelay and ropes that one in. Del Welton's shot hit the backside of McNaughton, goes to Duarte, he clears it. Welton just slaps it, and it's going to be gloved down by Bratney. Way up ice finds Hamilton. Off the wing, Hamilton tried to center. First one blocked by Ben Lightbody into the corner. Hamilton retrieved it, but couldn't do anything with it. It'll be Saint muscling his way through. Was forced on the dump in by Bratney. Out comes Purbu. All the way to the right side, Owen Lalonde. Just rubbed out over there. Now Larrabee coming in. He put a hit on Katzelay, but the pass still finds Bratney. He'll race this one. The former Frontenac's captain over for Hamilton. Sharp shot in there. Davis a stop, and then another one. 2 and a third for good measure.
Good work by Davis, because those were some great chances. Good shot from a tough angle, but it produced a rebound and a wraparound attempt, as you see right there. Then he couldn't cover it, so another chance, but Davis showing good reflexes, good quickness. He's having himself a great opening period.
It seemed like this year it took him forever to finally get his first win of the season, and watching the games, it always felt so bad for him. He put in great performances, and just it was a bad break here or there, and the Paladins would fall on the short end of it, but he did pick up one to kick off the new year, and since then was able to pick up another pair, giving him 3 on the season so far, as this one's dug out by the Gaels, but the pass too hot to handle at the right point, sends Thomas Stevenson chasing it down. He'll go way up ice and finds Cousins, who cuts back. Murray caught up to him and flattened him in the process. That one knocked away by Moreau as it came out.
Good use of those end boards that can be very nice to send the puck.
Cousins in front for Cap, the post, then the second one is in. And I think that is going to be Darren Cap's second of the season as the Gaels give themselves a 1-0 lead.
And again, it's just the pressure they've accumulated in the RMC zone. We'll see it here on the replay. Again, just pinning the Paladins in their own zone. And this time, Davis can't find the puck when it comes off the post. And right there to put it back in, and the Gaels strike first.
With former Sioux Thunderbird of the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League, notches the game's opening goal and swings momentum the way of the Queens Gaels as they lead 1-0 halfway through this first period. We'll see if RMC can answer the bell here. Smith in with it as Fox gives chase. Out comes Purbu though, and he'll slide that one over for Duff, who is bumped in the process. It finds Yancis, and he'll open up some space. Yancis at the blue line, backhanded in. It's on the stick of Davis, who will give it over to Bruce Coulthard. Didn't like what he had in front, cuts back over to Eric Moreau. Holtrop will deflect this one out to center ice. Jack Duff plays it smartly off the boards to Hutchison. He slows up, gets it along the boards and in. Late body in pursuit. Far corner, Hutchison with a clip on him. Bounces back up, one-timer, and that one goes just right of the net. Hutchison right into light body. At the right point, Lalonde towards the goal, deflected, not on net though. Here's Spratt deep on this play to try to get this out of harm's way. It'll go to Moreau and up the right wing side. Holtrop, Spratt, and then in off of Broderstick. Retrieving it over there was Alex Robert. They'll maneuver this one to the middle. Tolnay up to Michaud. Tries to get past Welton, who kept him at a distance with the arm. Now it'll be Joel Holtrop. Played it to the middle, rolls off the skate of Lalonde. There's Purbu, almost caught in no man's land, but does fire a pass over to Cameron Tolnay. Tolnay from center uses the boards to help him out and then goes off for a change, and he got a bump from Holtrop on his way off. Here's Hebert, blindly threw it through the middle. It deflects down. Picking it up with speed as Stevenson left it behind the net. There's save from Paquette, and Purbu called into action, and he answered the call. Here's Michaud down the wing. Pimps that one, just slaps it to McNaughton. Back to the middle it goes as Paquette fires it across the dots. Here's Hebert, way up for Sink, deflected in. But they're gonna say no touch, so icing whistle.
That's a big stop by Purbu. Gaels got running around in their own zone, and RMC gets a great chance right there. And it hasn't been a very busy period. That's only the second shot on goal, and I would argue the first real shot on goal for RMC. But they were that close to tying it up.
It's a tough one to not see any action and all of a sudden get a chance like that, and it's not just anybody. As the Gaels put this one in, and Davis sprawls out to keep it at bay. But it's not just anybody firing out. That's former Tampa Bay Lightning draft pick Chris Paquette from the slot.
Yeah.
So it's a close range chance for the Paladins that Purbu gets a piece of with the shoulder.
Notice that Davis is giving up a lot of rebounds as well as he's been playing in this first period. The Gaels are getting some second and third chances.
The hitting coming to the forefront here, and the fans again showing their appreciation. Here's Austin Saint, wrists it in and then heads off for the change to complete that one. But they're going to say that the pushing and shoving over at the benches between Saint and Hamilton was too much, and so referee Danny Emerson trying to get this under wraps early on. High sticking against the Gaels, cross-checking against the Paladins.
So the scoring on that goal, Alan, Cap from Perrick and Cousins at 11:23 to put the Gaels ahead 1-0.
Queens power play set to go to work for the first time in tonight's game, and it has been a pretty effective one for head coach Brett Gibson. Oh, that's right, they took the even up call, so it'll be 4-on-4. Which I still feels like favors the Queens Gaels with the extra space out there.
Just going to say the same thing, Alan, that RMC's got to be careful that it doesn't open up too much on them.
Right body from the point, steered away by Purbu. Lalonde to the rebound, now Fowler. Saucers it back door to Yancis. He's clipped on the play, and maybe I willed that into existence, as it is going to be a Queens power play when they relinquish possession. But Yancis coming over the line was clipped with a high stick, and off goes Josh Spratt, and it's a 4-on-3 power play for the Queens Gaels.
Sure looked like Spratt got his stick up in the face of Yancis. I don't know why Spratt went back over to talk to Yancis.
intentional by any stretch.
No,
he was trying
no,
to just
not
stick
at
check
all.
him as he came in over the line, but as they say, you are responsible for your stick at all times, and Queens Gaels power play is going to go to work. As I was saying, it has been pretty effective for head coach Brett Gibson this year.
And now you go from 4-on-4 to 4-on-3, even more ice.
7th best in the OUA, 22 goals on 102 outings, setting them at 21.6% efficiency. Yancey back for Lalonde as they try to break this triangle down from the Paladins. Lalonde shot, that one hit something on its way in and went wide right. They retrieve the rebound, and it's Duarte from the line. Looking shot, dropped it back. Now Fowler to Lalonde. Backdoor pass for Duarte, missed. It comes to Fowler. Middle of the line finds Lalonde. His pass hits the stick of McNaughton, bounces to Dalton Duarte, back in the circle, over the stick of Fowler, and the Paladins will chase this one down to the Queens line, as now there's just a minute left of 4-on-3. Fowler to Duarte, he's got space. Dalton Duarte in, wrist shot, scores! Duarte had feet on the glove side and voltages the twine as the Gaels double their lead on the power play.
I was just gonna say, Alan, that mistake by the Gaels at the blue line gave RMC a chance to change their penalty killers who were exhausted. But in the process, again, RMC sort of losing the width, and the Gaels are really exploiting that with the long passes, and you just can't give Duarte that type of chance.
He's making us look like geniuses, as he was one of our players to watch in the marquee matchup. And for Dalton Duarte, 16 goals now on the season, giving him an even 40 points. And he's still got the rest of this game and then Saturdays to go. So a pretty impressive campaign from the former Saginaw Spirit forward.
And still 4-on-4, so still a little extra ice. And RMC in some danger here with 4:39 left. Down 2-0. They've got to get back to a grinding game. Try and pin the Gaels in their own zone a bit.
48 seconds left of 4-on-4 hockey. Once they get the clock all straightened away, that is what the delay is right now. They're trying to get the Spratt penalty off the board, which was the one that gave the Queens Gaels the 4-on-3 power play. Great to see both schools have their bands in attendance tonight.
Just a great atmosphere, Alan. Again, I love this game every year. It's a great exhibition. Well, exhibition's probably the wrong word, but it's a great showpiece for OUA hockey, and especially for these two schools in this city.
They always talk about OUA hockey and youth sports hockey in general being kind of one of the best kept secrets in the hockey world, and it certainly is, as you are treated to some fantastic hockey on most nights. And I always say that when you get two of the top teams in youth sports going toe-to-toe, it's better than some of the lower level pro leagues.
Oh, I totally agree. I think it's a hidden gem in this country that doesn't get enough recognition, and I get it. I mean, there's a lot of hockey in Canada and a lot of good hockey, but no question, when you get to that youth sport national championships, they're quite good.
4:39 to go in the first period. It's a 2-0 Queens Gaels lead after Dalton Duarte wrists one off the left wing side. Hit high glove on Michael Davis on the power play to make this a 2-0 Gaels lead. We've got 4-on-4 for another 48 seconds before we get back to even strength. And the Gaels win the face-off to grab control. Lucas Perrick over to the wing, and stepping up into his man over there was Bruce Coulthard.
And I think RMC's got to do a lot more of that. Make the Gaels think before they receive those passes that they're going to get hit.
Chris Paquette, he's trying to engineer something over for Nathan Fox. He'll take a bit of a walk and then returns it for Chris Paquette, who cuts wide. Didn't like what was in front of him, so he'll look to open up some space and goes right with it. Paquette, keeping him at a reach, was the other Paquette. Chris and Jacob going in a battle there, and give the Gaels that one as they've got control. Hutchison had it knocked away from him, and then it almost ended up bouncing to Chris Paquette. Coulthard settled it at his own blue line, brings it up. Over and to the right circle. Ran himself into literally a corner there as the puck finally came free, and now Hutchison over to Tolnay. We are at 5-on-5 now as the chip and chase on from the Gaels, but it's Spratt who arrives. They turn it over. Here's Michaud. Big stop by Davis at the edge of the crease. He came out to challenge the shooter, and it worked in his favor as he made his best of the evening. There's Duff, wide blocker side. Back to Lalonde though at the blue. Here's Tolnay spinning, firing. Davis steers it away with the paddle. To Michaud, using that frame, he brings it to the boards and then puts it to Katzele. He's bumped by Holtrop, and then a second one as well. Brought him to the ice in the process. Puck is free. Coulthard there.
What a save by Davis.
Right down the pipe for Holtrop, but he was caught up to by Owen Lalonde. Over to Katzele, middle of the ice. Tolnay had his pocket picked by Broaders. Now Holtrop will play it in the hunt for it is Del Welton off the blue. Lalonde over in the corner. Duff, his pass missed everybody. It'll go out to center ice. Little chip from Cousins. And now it's light body for the Paladins. Welton. Intercepted pass by Cousins, but Leduc able to wrangle it back in, and then a hit thrown by Lightbody who stepped into him. Welton over for Smith. Down the boards. Fox came back and finds it. Tried to spring Leduc. Broken up. Here's Cap. Hits the brakes at the left circle. Darren Cap had the opening goal there. A shot from Bratney is snagged by netminder Michael Davis and brings us to our second timeout of the period. And so far it has been a dominant opening frame from the Queens Gaels. They're up 2-0. They're up 17-3 on the shot clock and really steering this one the way they want.
But don't forget that save we just saw there from Davis, because 3-0 after the first period would be a lot worse for RMC than the 2-0 deficit they see right now. But you're exactly right, Alan. Right now the Gaels are just getting RMC running around and opening up this game, and this first period is just playing right into the Gaels style.
If you're just tuning into your first Carr-Harris Cup game, this was a challenge that was initiated in 1986 by the International Hockey Hall of Fame, and it was created to celebrate the rivalry between the Queens Gaels and the Royal Military College, which for the history buffs back there, this is the oldest rivalry in hockey. It goes all the way back to 1886, so it was the centennial anniversary that they celebrated when they created this. As I mentioned, it is the longest one in the world on record, and the Challenge Cup trophy was donated by the Centennial Cup Committee, and on it, there's this figure. It's called the Lenny. It was a sculpture by Kingston native Joan Belch. And who is it named after? Well, Lennox Irving, who was a Queens player who scored the only goal in the March 10th, 1886 first game between RMC and Queens. So that is what the trophy figure is named after. The actual event and the trophy that is awarded is named after the Carr-Harris family, which has connections to both universities in this city. And on top of that, the top player from each team walks away with the Mary Carr-Harris Most Valuable Player Award. So a great night for all as Michael Davis registers another shot or save to his name.
So that second goal by the Gaels, Duhar with it. Hayden Fowler gets the lone assist for the Gaels. That made it 2-0.
Another Kingston kid in this game right there. Hayden Fowler off the straw. Poke to the wing, and then Hutchison got there, but his pass for Paquette missed, and now Service is going to force Jacob Paquette to be quick on his feet. Takes him into the boards too. Paquette bounces off of that one. There's Larrabee though, trying to strip Paquette. Puck sitting there. Now it's back into the boards. A little bump given by Larrabee, and now it's Duff over to Hutchison. He'll flip this one down towards the RMC net. Missed though. Pulled in by the Paladins, slapped up the boards by Eric Moreau out at center. Jacob Bratney pulled that. Lalonde for Yancey, 90 seconds to go in period number one. Over to Bratney as he skates onto it. He's given a bump as McNaughton stepped up into him. It comes back off the boards, past center. Here's Holden Katzele for the Gaels. Owen Lalonde from his feet to the middle, missed Hamilton on it there. Saint with a hit on him. captain Chris Paquette settles play down, and light body goes rink wide to Welton. Welton rides off the stick. There's a sweeping motion from McNaughton to get it in as we hit the final 60 of period number 1. Behind the net, Lalonde to Catzele through the middle for Duarte. He'll come in over the line, over to Hamilton, back to Duarte, and he tried to deflect it, but it went right instead of down the middle. Countering is Austin Saint. He's got Paquette with him. Saint tried to go to Paquette. He was hit at the line. Back the other way, it's Hamilton for the Gaels. Caught up to by Joel Holtrop and stopped. Hamilton, no second effort, threw the slot out the other side. Broaders off the board. There's Holtrop in the hunt, but Duff uses that reach to get it. Fed to Paquette. Down ice it goes. Will this be an icing? No, it's smothered by Davis. So an offensive zone draw on deck for the Queens Gaels with 19 seconds to go in this one.
Again, good pressure by the Gaels, getting some opportunities, and Michael Davis doing a phenomenal job of keeping RMC alive in this game.
I think just looking at the way this first period has transpired, if the RMC Paladins get out of this down 2-0, that's a win for them.
Oh, for sure.
Out to center ice, that just missed Holtrop. Broader slapped at it. Here's Jacob Paquette, a little game of catch between he and Jack Duff before it goes down ice. Knocked down by Holtrop. The show touches that, and it's waved off, and now we get the buzzer, which brings a close to period number 1, but not without some pushing and shoving first. And of course, what would a Carr-Harris Cup game be without that? But it is a 2-0 lead for Queens after 20. They outshoot RMC 18-3. They outscore them 2-0. And really, you couldn't ask for a better opening frame from the Gaels if you were head coach Brett Gibson.
Not at all. 18-3 shots on goal. If not for Michael Davis, could be 3, 4, even 5-0. And I think RMC needs to talk about how they can change this game flow. And for the Gaels, maybe some frustration, because certainly they could be thinking to themselves here at the intermission that this game should be sealed. But Michael Davis, the real story of this first period.
2-0, Gaels on top of the Paladins in the 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup. We'll send it out for a break and come back with the second period. You're watching Paladins and Gaels on OUA TV.
Where exceptional student athletes are born, where records are broken, where great plays are made, where school colors ignite passion, where champions prevail, where tradition is celebrated, Ontario University Athletics. Where exceptional student athletes are born, where records are broken.
This dressing room to me represents the school of life. The old coach I had in the late 90s used to say overnight success takes time.
This is the best league I've played in by far. Guys are smart, guys are skilled. You've got guys that are here to play and can play. Everyone in this league can play.
I played in Niagara Ice Dogs and the Peterborough Petes, and also I was drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 5th round.
We expect our first years to contribute right off the bat. Starting from on ice, you have a chance to come in and play.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me in the recruiting process. Getting the chance to step in as a first year and contribute right away is big.
We ask a lot of our student athletes. We're a leadership college, so we expect everyone to be a leader. It's demanding, but it sets them up to be key members of that culture, and so they can be drivers of the bus and not just followers at the back. We don't just skate by, we skate through.
Being a small school in such a high level of competition for hockey brings a level of adversity. And I think that adversity creates bonds, camaraderie, and friendships that are so powerful. I think that this is what makes this program stand out from all others.
Kingston's a gorgeous city that our student athletes get to enjoy. It has tons of history. All the buildings on the exterior are very historic, but everything inside has been updated, and they are all state-of-the-art for the classrooms and dorm rooms, as well as our dining halls and our cadet mess where they can relax, watch TV, watch hockey games, play some pool. Almost all the dorm rooms have a sight line to the water. The campus is a one-stop shop, might be one of the most picturesque campuses in Canada, with it being a peninsula in Lake Ontario.
Being on the peninsula, gorgeous. It's a university city, top to bottom. The city of Kingston is awesome.
As a cadet, tuition, room, board, food, it's all covered. So student athletes coming here, they come out debt-free. They actually receive a salary during the year. So when they graduate, they've actually made money for 4 years. We're one of the only universities in Canada that can guarantee 4 years towards your pension while you're at school and a guaranteed employment after. Within 10 years after graduation, we can guarantee that you'll be making 6 figures.
It was a no-brainer that I get to keep playing hockey. I get to pursue my childhood dream of flying planes.
They know they can come here, get an excellent education, and then go on to have an amazing career after having enjoyed, 4 or 5 years of exceptional hockey.
We have grads that are special forces. We have grads that have been the captain of our parachute team, the Skyhawks and the Snowbirds. We also have a lot of alumni that have desk jobs within the military, whether it's doing finance, HR, policies, contracting. But then we also have very successful people that take that military experience and translate it into the private sector, whether they start engineering firms for themselves or work for big companies. Hockey team alumni that have opened breweries, pilots in the private sector. We also have Navy personnel that have captained ships and have sailed around the world, or they can be in the Air Force as pilots. So they're flying every aircraft, whether it's an F-18, a Herc, a Globemaster, or Cyclones helicopters.
I've wanted to be a pilot since I was a little kid. You know, the military crossed my mind. It opened a door to me that I'd never really thought about before.
We're very fortunate that we get the opportunity to play in 2 historic hockey games annually. Our first one is against Queens, and that game is actually the longest standing inter-university rivalry. Our second game is against West Point, an NCAA Division I team. That game is the longest standing international hockey rivalry in the world.
The Canadian Armed Forces versus U.S. Army, like that atmosphere is like nothing I've ever experienced before.
You know, when you put on that jersey, it's a great sense of pride, because not only that you're representing RMC, but you're representing Canada, and you can't get that anywhere else.
RMC provides you with the skills that you need to become just an excellent Canadian citizen in whatever area you'll decide to work in.
I think RMC hockey is on the upswing, and I think the best years are ahead of us, and that's a challenge, and that's a challenge I'm really looking forward to.
The most successful people in life share one thing in common.
They all put themselves in a position to thrive.
Surrounded by people who challenge them to think bigger.
And communities that support them at every turn.
in the classroom,
and way outside of it.
If you want to set yourself up for success,
if you want to give yourself the tools to achieve any goal,
there's no better place to begin than Queens.
we challenge.
we support,
You succeed.
You'll be great, no matter where you go.
But your greatest story starts right here.
Where exceptional student athletes are born. Where records are broken. Where great plays are made. Where school colors ignite passion. Where champions prevail. Where tradition is celebrated. Ontario University Athletics.
This dressing room to me represents the school of life. The old coach I had in the late 90s used to say overnight success takes time.
This is the best league I've played in by far. Guys are smart, guys are skilled. You've got guys that are here to play and can play. Everyone in this league can play.
I played in Niagara Ice Dogs and the Peterborough Petes, and also I was drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 5th round.
We expect our first years to contribute right off the bat. Starting from on ice, you have a chance to come in and play.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me in the recruiting process. Getting the chance to step in as a first year and contribute right away is big.
We ask a lot of our student athletes. We're a leadership college, so we expect everyone to be a leader. It's demanding, but it sets them up to be key members of that culture, and so they can be drivers of the bus and not just followers at the back. We don't just skate by, we skate through.
Being a small school in such a high level of competition for hockey brings a level of adversity, and I think that adversity creates bonds, camaraderie, and friendships that are so powerful. I think that this is what makes this program stand out from all others.
Kingston's a gorgeous city that our student athletes get to enjoy. It has tons of history. All the buildings on the exterior are very historic, but everything inside has been updated, and they are all state-of-the-art for the classrooms and dorm rooms, as well as our dining halls and our cadet mess where they can relax, watch TV, watch hockey games, play some pool. Almost all the dorm rooms have a sight line to the water. The campus is a one-stop shop. Might be one of the most picturesque campuses in Canada, with it being a peninsula in Lake Ontario.
Being on the peninsula, gorgeous. It's a university city, top to bottom. The city of Kingston is awesome.
As a cadet, tuition, room, board, food, it's all covered. So student athletes coming here, they come out debt-free. They actually receive a salary during the year. So when they graduate, they've actually made money for 4 years. We're one of the only universities in Canada that can guarantee 4 years towards your pension while you're at school and a guaranteed employment after. Within 10 years after graduation, we can guarantee that you'll be making 6 figures.
It was a no-brainer that I get to keep playing hockey. I get to pursue my childhood dream of flying planes.
They know they can come here, get an excellent education, and then go on to have an amazing career after having enjoyed, 4 or 5 years of exceptional hockey.
We have grads that are special forces. We have grads that have been the captain of our parachute team, the Skyhawks and the Snowbirds. We also have a lot of alumni that have desk jobs within the military, whether it's doing finance, HR, policies, contracting. But then we also have very successful people that take that military experience and translate it into the private sector, whether they start engineering firms for themselves or work for big companies. Hockey team alumni that have opened breweries, pilots in the private sector. We also have Navy personnel that have captained ships and have sailed around the world, or they can be in the Air Force as pilots. So they're flying every aircraft, whether it's an F-18, a Herc, a Globemaster, or Cyclones helicopters.
I wanted to be a pilot since I was a little kid. You know, the military crossed my mind. It opened a door to me that I'd never really thought about before.
We're very fortunate that we get the opportunity to play in 2 historic hockey games annually. Our first one is against Queens, and that game is actually the longest standing inter-university rivalry. Our second game is against West Point, an NCAA Division I team. That game is the longest standing international hockey rivalry in the world.
The Canadian Armed Forces versus U.S. Army, like that atmosphere is like nothing I've ever experienced before.
You know, when you put on that jersey, it's a great sense of pride because not only that you're representing RMC, but you're representing Canada, and you can't get that anywhere else.
RMC provides you with the skills that you need to become just an excellent Canadian citizen in whatever area you'll decide to work in.
I think RMC hockey is on the upswing, and I think the best years are ahead of us, and that's a challenge, and that's a challenge I'm really looking forward to.
The most successful people in life share one thing in common.
They all put themselves in a position to thrive.
Surrounded by people who challenge them to think bigger.
And communities that support them at every turn.
In the classroom.
And way outside of it.
If you want to set yourself up for success.
If you want to give yourself the tools to achieve any goal.
There's no better place to begin than Queens.
We challenge.
We support.
You succeed.
You'll be great, no matter where you go.
But your greatest story starts right here.
Where exceptional student athletes are born. Where records are broken. Where great plays are made. Where school colors ignite passion. Where champions prevail. Where tradition is celebrated. Ontario University Athletics.
In the 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup, as we welcome you back inside Leon Center. Alan Admansky along with Bill Miklas set to go for period 2. And for the Queens Gaels, the MO is going to be just keep doing what we're doing because it was working. And if you're the RMC Paladins, it's only up from here.
Yeah, I think the next goal is the hockey game. If the Gaels go up 3-0, it might be tough for RMC to come back. But if RMC can get that first goal, all of a sudden, that incredible first period that the Gaels had statistically is now a one-goal game. So Michael Davies is used to having a lot of rubber go his way. He's kept his team in the game. Can they reward him by getting back into it in this second period?
Shots on goal, 18-3 for the Gaels in that opening period as the puck is down, and we are underway for the middle frame of tonight's contest. Over to Spratt, back to Welton. He whiffed on his outlet pass, but it still gets there as Holtrop goes to Broaders, knocked away from him by Duff. Here's Yancis over and in. It'll be retrieved by Coltart around a pair of checks, and then up onto that right wing side. Spratt over to Welton. He'll take a walk, comes up to the offensive blue. Everybody had peeled off to the bench, and the Gaels will gladly take that gift as they saucer this one down for Nolan Hutchison. A hair ahead of him, but he gets back to it. A wild shot off the back of the net and into the netting. Stops play here early on.
So a couple things. First, that long pass, something that the Gaels have really exploited RMC within the first period, come right at them in this first 40 seconds. But I saw much better work by RMC coming out of their own end. They turned it over a lot in that opening period, trying to come out of their own end, which got them in trouble. That last sequence, they did a pretty good job.
Well, seen in the first period, there was a bit of disconnect. Forwards breaking out before the puck was there from the defense. We're only about 43 seconds in, but right off the hop, they're moving as a unit instead of two separate parties.
For sure, and also I think the passes aren't being put in spots where the Gaels sticks could knock them down, which they were able to do certainly early in the game.
This one slapped midair, back to that left point. Lalonde tried a wrist shot, blocked by Smith. Duarte down the wing. Hamilton over to Katzelay, and he'll dance out from that spot. Now at the line, Bratney, big stop by Davis, kicked it away. Lalonde to the rebound though in the corner, pushed it. Got it back, Hamilton's centering attempt, cleared out by the Paladins. Chasing this down will be Dalton Duarte, who seems to be involved in everything out there tonight. Duarte off of the check, spilled out. Pass still rolls to Katzelay, and now he'll get around Satan. One-armed it up to Bratney, rink wide to Duarte, who joins in. Broke his stick though as he was trying to snap one past Davis. Here's Hamilton, just pushed to the boards by Devin Leduc over there. They're gonna grind at this one, it's plucked out. Tolne in front for Robert, outweighted, Davis got a piece. Oh my goodness, Michael Davis outweighting Alex Robert on the doorstep.
I think he got it with his stick, the blade of his stick.
Yeah, it was either the stick or the glove. Everything was sprawling over there, and he didn't care what got it as long as something did. It's back behind the net. Davis is going to knock this down on his forehand. Nobody on the wing, but he did get it out of the zone, so that's a win for the Paladins as Duff backs off. He'll spin off the check of service down the wing through Michaud's skates on to Devin Pym. Slapped down the other way by Will Murray. And the Gaels will collect. Will Murray, brother Liam, over on the RMC bench. Spent some years here with the Kingston Frontenacs, and then went on to an OUA career with the RMC Paladins before joining the Kingston Police Force. Here's Duff to the right circle. Tolne up to the line. Robert, puck settled for him, and he gets going, but pickpocketed there as Larrabee had it temporarily. Michaud stripped him. He'll come in with it. Michaud pushed at by Moreau, got him wrapped up to the ice. Backhanded the other way by the Paladins. Here's Stevenson. Over to Perrick and then rifled in. Off the glass to Moreau. Offside the Gaels. Our cap throws a hit. That'll be whistled on the intentional.
See if we've got that save by Davis.
Sprawled right out. He didn't care. He just doing whatever he could to come up with it.
Here we go. Oh, no, this is just the previous sequence, but here's the chance. And it's a waiting game, and hard to tell something there what he got. He got something in the way of it to keep it 2-0.
Here's Perrick over to the wing. Up Boards by Stevenson, missed Marburg. Here's Welton through the middle for Chris Paquette. Down the boards, twisted around was Perrick as he gets hit by Paquette. Able to push it on though, and now it'll be brought through by Cap. Dodge the hit of McNaughton over to that left point. Lucas Perrick lobbed it in. Welton around the outer wall. There's Perrick to find it from well out, put it towards the net, couldn't get deflected on. Saint had his stick lifted as he tried to carry out. Now it'll be Paquette, hits the brakes, and he sold that one hook, line, and sinker over to Welton. Tried to drag around Cap, lost it. Now it's Darren Cap. Backdoor pass missed. It goes to Coltart up for Perth, Ontario's Brock McNaughton over the center logo and then in. McNaughton wrapped up his junior A career with the Elliott Lake Red Wings before coming to RMC. Here's Lalonde to Bratney. Rink wide leads Yancez, but too far out. Pushed away by Davis. Paladins had trouble. Here's Yancez. Tried to break in off of that error. Could not. It'll be Fox off of Yancez, who grimaces out there. Fowler takes the walk in. Drop pass. Hutchison shot over the net and off the glass. Comes to the point. Smith just lackadaisical there. Yancez for Hutchison. Over to that wing. Leduc covering well. At the line, they're not able to keep it on, so they will have to tag up. It'll be Lalonde up to the blue line and in. Still with it, Owen Lalonde. Angled away by Devin Pym. Puck sitting there. Who wants it? It's going to be kicked at. Finally comes free. It's Yancez in front for Hutchison. Quick shot. And Davis a piece to put it into the corner. Off the end boards over to Pym. Fox was twisted. Didn't see Duff stepping up. Now Jack Duff from the corner. Backhand pass blocked. Still has it though. Lost it to Hebert. It's back to Duff. Over for Duart. Scores! Great feed. Better finish. Gaels up 3-0.
Just again, RMC got running around in their own zone. Gaels just using the width of the zone to their advantage. Rink-wide pass, and Duart made no mistake again. Not much Davis could do. He's trying to track the puck, but that's just too good a shot.
And Duart had enough time to set that one up and adjust himself to fire it in, and he got everything behind it as he beats Michael Davis and adds a second goal to his output this evening to give him 17 on the season and the 3-0 Queens Gaels lead here. 5 minutes gone in the second. Alex Robert and Brent Broaders pushing off the wing. Puck rolls back for Moreau. They'll lock up right underneath us, and finally it comes free and is kicked ahead. Alex Robert, no trailer there. It's Joel Holtrop. Played that one right off the bugle of Cameron Tolnay there. This goes into the Queens bench. It will stop play and take us to our first timeout of the second period. Gaels in front 3-0, just as Dalton Duart picked up his second of the evening.
And the Gaels, Allen, have done exactly, I think, what their game plan was coming out of the intermission. Keep the pressure on the Paladin. They recognize the same thing that you and I did. They're up 2-0. Paladins get the next goal. We're back into a hockey game. Keep the pressure on them. Try to get that 3-0 lead and really force RMC to have to open things up. And despite some great saves by Michael Davis, he just couldn't keep the other one, the shot by Duart, out of the net.
I mentioned this is the oldest rivalry in hockey. This is the 36th edition of this Challenge Cup, and it celebrates the rivalry between Queens and RMC, which dates back to 1886. The first Carr-Harris Cup game played October 22nd, 1986. So it used to be at the start of the year and kicked off the season. Queens has the decisive edge in this Cup Challenge, 21-11-2. And for RMC, they sit with 11 wins, 21 losses, and 3 ties as we come back to action. And netminder Christian Purbu to the Queens net. He has had a slow night so far. Only 3 shots have been thrown his way. A couple dump-ins, but that has been it for the Queens goalie, who sits with a record of 13 wins, 4 losses, and 1 overtime loss through 18 starts. Here's Stevenson, just banked it ahead to Alex Robert. In the hunt for it is light body. They'll collide. Puck up for grabs. It's going to be battled for. Onto the wing, Broaders. Gets himself turned around. Way up ice for Holtrop as it just skips over his stick in on Purbu. He'll push that one behind the net. Stevenson to the left. Robert got hit by Spratt. It's out at center. Spratt is to it. Light body now, Moreau. Way up on the wing. Holtrop deflects that one in. Backhanded away by Purbu to Robert. Now at the middle, Tolnay hit the backside of Michaud, who is streaking through. It comes back to Robert. They're offside. Here is Bruce Coulthard. On the left wing, around Perrick. In on Purbu. The blocker and paddle were down. Kept that one at bay. Welton to the circle for service. Knocked off his stick. To it was Larrabee at the line. Welton for Coulthard. Just slapped in. Lalonde stepped into his man. Puck rolls by. Murray for Larrabee. At the blue line from well out, deflected and goes right of the cage. Finding it will be Perrick. He just pulls it in, leaves it behind the net. Lalonde skates to it. Right side, he'll go to Katzelay, and then he'll take a walk over across the blue line, dropped it back. Perrick up ice, just a hair out of the reach of Hamilton, and this will be an icing charge against the tricolor. For the Queens Gaels, trying to tune up their game before playoffs next week, which they will see the Concordia Stingers. It's just a matter of who will get the home ice advantage. OUA playoffs, 1 and 2 get a bye, and then it's 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, and the Gaels and Stingers occupy spots 4 and 5. Can't move up, can't move down. They're locked into those seats. It's just a matter of who will be 4th and who will be 5th. One warning doled out on this face-off. Finally on the second go-round, we thought we had a clean one done. They say no. Back to the Todd as they reset. Tolnay against Paquette. Puck is down. It's a win for the Paladins. McNaughton there. Tried to stretch for it. Lost that. Back on it quickly is Paquette as he curls through the zone with it. Dropped it for Pim. He'll take a walk off the point. Put it towards the goal. Purbu shoveled it away with the blocker. Now it'll be Saint. Puck is loose at the right point. Walking as he teed it up. And Purbu on the knuckle puck got it with the mid.
Probably the toughest stop the Gaels goaltender has had to make so far in this hockey game. And it was the Gaels' turn this time to sort of blindly try and clear it out of the zone. And it helped. It was kept in at the right point. And there's the chance. Takes a little deflection. Purbu able to hold on.
It was the RMC forward and the Queens forward going into the shooting lane, and it was a couple of sticks there that sent that one up in an arcing trajectory towards Christian Purbu, and he was able to read that one and gets under it to smother for a face-off, which the Gaels win. Out to that right wing side, with it is Marburg. Stevenson was coming through, he's sent down. Puck over to Brent Broaders. Poked ahead by Spratt. He's on his horse. Can't get to it before Paquette. Take the Paquette down to the ice as Spratt wouldn't leave him alone. Now it's Holtrop. Sharp angle shot upstairs off the shoulder of Purbu. Cleared the other way by Queens captain Jack Duff. And to the line it's Ben Lightbody. So icing against Queens. A look at Ben Lightbody there.
This is better by RMC. They've got the Gaels running around a little bit in the zone.
Edmundston Blizzard, Ben Lightbody, as we get a look at that last sequence, and it was that sharp angle shot from the former Kingston Voyageur Joel Holtrop got to the goal line and just said, hey, I'm going to try my luck here, why not? And almost was able to create something. This drop goes to the boards. Coulthard's on Duff. That's Saint that was brought down. Here's McNaughton to Welton, another drive in, gloved by Purbu. Behind the net, getting mugged in there was Austin Saint. He looks none too hoppy, but gets right back to it and will go his own way. RMC, as mentioned, will play the York Lions on Saturday afternoon over at Constantine Arena to wrap up the season. 2 o'clock start on Seniors Day. And off that last sequence, it is Jacob Paquette who is off 2 for the Gaels, and I'm not sure if they called that boarding or roughing. But RMC doesn't care. They will take their first power play of the night and gladly go to work on it. For the Queens Gaels, their season wraps up Saturday night as they welcome in the Ontario Tech Ridgebacks for a 7:30 start at the Memorial Centre. I always want to say the York Yeomen, but they changed years ago to the Lions, but it's still stuck in my head for some reason.
Oh, I get caught once in a while too.
There's Lalonde for Robert, and then it missed, so the Paladins have it. This is Paquette trying to get some kind of flamelit under the Paladins. There the wires were crossed. They go back to Coulthard, who returns it to the captain. He's going to come in with a head of steam. Took a shot there, gets to the corner. Puck bounced off of his stick. There's Will Murray back for Saint across to Coulthard. Saint will pull that one in off the feed to the circle. Back at the line, high in the zone, over to Paquette from well out. Missed the net. Here's Saint for the rebound. Wasn't on. Here's Coulthard. Holds on to it. Over to Paquette. Laser shot was hit, and Murray blocked it. Unintentionally, of course. That one goes off the stick, out of play. Faceoff will remain in the Queen's zone as we get a bit of pushing and shoving again over there after the whistle. Nathan Fox going against Colton Cousins. Will Murray joining that one with words for the Gaels as Paladins look to spark some kind of comeback. Draw on the left side of Christian Purbu. We will see Hayden Fowler go toe-to-toe with Devin Leduc. A win for the Paladins and a quick rip from the right point from Del Welton. I think RMC is going to have to do more of that to get themselves back in this game, slowly clawing away at the shot clock. Same spot, they just dropped it. Another result that is the exact same. This time they send it to Spratt. Still time left with the man advantage for the Paladins. At the line, it's Welton for Leduc. Down low. Can Broaders take this one? He's going to get hit by Stevenson. They'll dig away at this one. Duff with tabs on his check. Everybody had vacated the point. It's a short-handed rush. Fowler and Cousins. He trips over the blue line, and the Paladins with a break. It's over to Spratt as he carries it in. Drop pass, and the shot from Holtrop is just cushioned and kept by Christian Purbu.
Oh, tough break for Fowler on the rush. Gaels had a great shorthanded 2-on-1. Fowler loses the edge, and it turns into this chance for RMC.
Joel Holtrop getting all of his 6'2", 185-pound frame behind that shot. Christian Purbu, though, standing tall for the Gaels to this point. Nearing the midpoint of the period as well as the game. 3-0 Gaels in front. Dalton Duarte has led the tricolor. 2 goals for him. Power play 1 as well in those 2.
So 2 seconds left in the power play. The penalty clock not working right now, so the official just told both benches.
What Bill didn't tell you is he's actually keeping track with his hands, and I see him going 5, 4, 3, 2, and he's keeping time. He's pulling double duty tonight, earning his keep. Over to Austin Saint. I think we're even strength now, but Paquette's still in the box. Now he'll come out. Coulthard over the line. To Saint, walks in, outweights Purbu, and he roofed it over the net. That's probably the best chance the Paladins have had so far, and it was through the uprights. Cat over to Coulthard. Maybe that's a confidence builder for them as this one is gloved and tossed aside by Purbu. Right now, it's just about the little things for RMC, and this icing is going to be waved off. Hebert flattened by Hutchison. The stick though of Davis alive and well, pushing that one back into the corner. Duhart from well out. Saw he had Yancis in there, trying to draw a penalty. Jonathan Yancis. Officials not biting. Puck taken by Liam Service at the line. He's able to backhand this one just outside of the zone. And pinballs near side of the ice. Duhart brought in by Larrabee. Could he find a trailer? No, it finds Colton Cousins as he and Hebert bump over there. Now Liam Service over the stick of Coulthard. He'll slap this one down the wing. Puck up on edge. Paquette there as the last man back. Fires a pass to Yancis. He hits the brakes and gets around Smith. But then he's flattened in there by Leduc. Puck will be cleared. Here's Pym. But in the process, we get a penalty called, and now it's going to be a cross-checking charge, and I think it's going to be Ryan Smith, 2 for cross-check and 2 for unsportsmanlike.
Well, I think the Gaels player, is getting the 2. Cap said something to Smith after, and referee Emerson called it right away.
So here's a look at the cross-check, and right there it was Ryan Smith, but then as you mentioned, Bill, Darren Cap just kept the lips moving, and referee Emerson didn't like that, so he teed him up, and so we get 4-on-4 again. Motion's running a little bit hot tonight. As we come back to center to get play going again, here is Hayden Fowler up against Josh Spratt. Fowler the win as it's driven back, and that is where Thomas Stevenson will take it. Former Windsor Spitfire left it to Perrick. Then it's kicked up by Fowler to himself. He'll carry over the line, splits a pair of Paladins in front. The pass just a little too far back, and Josh Spratt will try to counterattack. Spratt keeping on him was Perrick. Blew right by him though when Spratt hit the brakes. Now it's the RMC forward around the goal. Fans wanted to call, and I don't think I agree with them, neither do the officials. Here's Fowler diagonally into the Paladin zone. Welton over for light body, and that one rides off a stick. Comes to Welton, finds Broaders up ice. He comes in over the blue line with it, and then wades back to neutral territory. It'll be Paquette fresh off the bench for RMC over to Bruce Coulthard. Off the boards, he drives it back to Paquette, who wheels and weaves through his way and sends a high wrist shot over the net. The rebound kicked back down the boards by McNaughton. St. had it for the moment, and then it's cleared. Here's Hamilton in with Robert. They're offside. RMC will force them back as Lalonde takes it to the boards. He's bumped down. Here's Coulthard, has St. in front. The pass never arrived as Bratney clogged up the lanes. Behind the goal, St. Coulthard also digging away. It'll be located by Hamilton, and through the middle, hit Robert in stride, but he was caught up too. Paquette from that point. 20 seconds and 4-on-4 to go. 3-0 Gaels in front. 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup. Liam Service doing his work to get in. Couldn't manufacture anything to that goal mouth area. It'll be Jacob Paquette. Missed his target. With it now will be Devin Pym at the center line. Tried to go back to Hebert. He lost it. Here's Duhart in front for Cap. Outweights Davis, who put the pad back there. And he comes up with a fantastic stop.
That's his 3rd highlight reel save. And it's been a while since the Gaels have had a chance since they scored that 3rd goal. So.
And when you look at the guys who created the goals for the Gaels, Darren Cap had the first one. Dalton Dewart had the next 2, and those are the ones that came streaking in there.
Just great flexibility and reaction by the right pad.
And a little trick there, we can see it from our shot, but he uses the left pad to anchor himself on the inside of the post so he can reach with all he's got and keep that one at. Comes to the left point, Jacob Paquette's shot. Hit the massive body still at the face-off circle. Back to the boards, it's Yancis down into the corner. Fowler back in front. Yancis' shot is deflected wide. Larrabee for Holtrop, and at the blue line, just sent back in by Paquette. But in the process, he clipped the Paladin coming out of the zone, and that was Will Murray who lost his helmet. So a penalty coming up against the Gaels. We're gonna call this high sticking. Off will go Jacob Paquette, former Nashville Predator draft pick. Power play coming up for the RMC Paladins, and they look pretty good on the last one.
Didn't get it all there on the replay. Hard to see, but certainly the helmet came flying off, and Jacob Paquette with back-to-back penalties.
I think it was similar. We get another look here maybe, and it was similar to the one we saw earlier where Josh Spratt just kind of was going to hook the man and ended up getting the helmet instead. And so from the right point, Paquette works in, high shot towards the net. Wasn't pulled in.
The RMC last power play generated some chances.
From the corner, they'll work it. Carrying it is Alex Robert. He'll put that one out of trouble. Back to it is Chris Paquette for RMC. Robert will chase him behind the net, and now the pass is way up to Nathan Fox. Stumbles though as he got in over the blue line, and Jack Duff will catch up to him there. Bit of a rugby scrum at the blue line right now. Paquette's got it sealed to the boards. They're trying to push him off of it. Finally it comes free, and Coulthard will take it. For Saint, they are not onside. That is whistled quickly. Paladins tried to sneak a change in, but not everybody got onside. 5:17 to go, second period. Gaels leading this 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup, 3-0.
And again, the Gaels wrap up fourth place and home ice advantage against Concordia in next week's playoffs if they win this game.
There is some scoreboard watching going on, and I believe at last count, Concordia and UQTR were tied at 1, but I was told the Gaels have the tiebreaker. So that's something to have in the back pocket for Brett Gibson and his Gaels. As Welton at the blue line, over to LeDuc, big blast in there, went right into the body of Lalonde and will be cleared. Down ice it goes, Davis left it to Welton behind the net. 40 seconds left in this power play for RMC. It came on in the back half of the season, but sputtered of late. Spratt around Bratney and then in. He'll take Stevenson right to the board. Now Bratney gets back. Puck is free. There it is from Marburg, but he has trouble clearing it, and LeDuc will take it. At the right point, he tried to find a home. Nobody able to take it. Holtrop out at neutral territory. Played it right off the body of Tolnay. In over the line, Cameron Tolnay, long laser shot. Grabbed by Davis and tossed away, but not before they got the whistle. Sam Marburg with a smile on his face.
Much better penalty killing on this Paquette penalty by the Gaels than the previous one.
I think RMC kind of switched up their strategy a little bit. The Gaels didn't immediately respond to it, but they have in this second outing and have smothered the Paladins. Here's Duarte looking for his third, but Davis had other plans as he gets that one for another face-off. Shots 25-11 now. We get a look at this last opportunity from the Gaels' 17 goal man. Next closest is Nolan Hutchison with 14 for the tricolor this year. Dumped in, and Duff is there. Little closed area poke check to Jacob Paquette. Way up, finds Michaud, who left it sitting on a platter for Duhart. He came through the right circle. Katzelay behind the net, hits the brakes. Duhart and Katzelay. McNaughton and Moreau, and it's going to be McNaughton winning it. Over to Service. Tried to go rink wide, but it was blocked. Now it's at the center stripe. Katzelay overskates it. On the boards, Duhart to Katzelay. Back in front, Michaud lets it roll past. Lalonde came off the bench and into the corner. He'll drive. Back to the line. Fowler shot deflected last second. Davis sprawls out. He's got it in his pads and finally feels it and got it for the whistle. Timely stop. 3:07 to go in the second. And the Gaels seem to be pushing back the other way after the Paladins took it to their side of the ice. It's the Gaels coming back with some chances of their own.
Yeah, I really thought that the Paladins did a great job after giving up the goal here in the second period to Duhart of taking the play to the Gaels and having some great opportunities. The two power plays helped as well. The Gaels, as you said, just regaining a little bit of that momentum back. But give RMC credit, because when Duhart scored that goal of 5:03 of this period, it certainly looked like it was no one would have forgiven the Paladins if their shoulders sank, but they came right back and really have done a good job in this second period.
If there's one thing you can say about RMC Paladins teams is that they will never be outworked any night of the season. It's certainly the case here tonight. They have not stopped working. They are grinding away, trying to get themselves back in it, and I have seen it on a couple of occasions this year where they get one and then it seems to be a snowball and it builds from there.
Well, certainly for all the play that the Gaels have had on RMC at times in this game and how they're controlling shots on goal, it is only 3-0. If the Paladin can just beat Purbu once, maybe that opens the floodgates, as you say. Conversely, if the Gaels could get another before the end of the period, will make life tough on RMC in the third.
Back to get play started, it will be Smith against Fowler. And to win for the Paladins, the center's locked up and the wingers came through, but the winger in that situation was Matthew Hebert, a defenseman, as he sent it deep into the Queen's end. Here's Fox around Yancey. Back on it, Nathan Fox. Tried to create some offense there, but everybody was tied up. Gaels will take it. Bratney behind the net to Fowler. Little backhand shovel pass finds Yancey. Rink wide. Lalonde skates onto it. Through Hutchison, but a tad ahead of him was Fowler, which means offside against the Gaels.
That side of the blue line has given Fowler some trouble tonight.
Came through with a ton of speed and couldn't hit the brakes hard enough. Matthew Hebert there, look at your screens. Big, tall, former Lindsay Muskie's defenseman. Rocking some big moments, or big minutes for the RMC blue line over the last few seasons. Officials will back the wingers off. Now we get a drop. Queens with control off of that. Katzelay couldn't get it past Welton. Saint will drive it back into the Queens end. It's Paquette to that left wing. On Hamilton there was Saint. It comes back to Hamilton. And then his pass intercepted by Coulthard. RMC activating the defense now, trying to get themselves in this game. Trying to create some odd man rushes as well. Lifted into the RMC end. Over to the right wing side. McNaughton through the middle for Paquette, who's got some steam. Paquette comes to the circle. Shot in. A square on Purbu. And it dropped right in front of him for a face-off. Not a whole lot of urgency from the Paladins right now. It almost feels like to me if they're able to get one before the end of this period, they've still got a pretty good chance of getting themselves back in the game.
Well, and just giving the Gaels something to worry about in the intermission is big too.
Tolnay best Spratt on the face-off. Holtrop into the corner, as is Spratt. That's who has it. Josh Spratt kicked it down low for Joel Holtrop. Holtrop in front, hit the backside of Broaders, who came screaming through. It's on the stick of Holtrop now. Back to Broaders. And at the boards, Marburg freed it up, but it goes to Holtrop. His backhand sails wide of the net to the far wing. Cousins cleared it down the boards. Here's Marburg, locks up with Pym. Stabbed at, finally free, Moreau. Dropped it back for Pym, he'll go up the boards with it, missed his breakout pass, and it settles for Jacob Bratney. Lalonde up the ice for Marburg. Final 60 seconds of this second period are upon us. Flying by tonight here at the Leon Center. Lalonde hits a stick on his attempt, and then Pym got swiped by. Service for Pym. Hard riff off the glass and down ice. It's Bratney to Lalonde. Tried to go to the middle, broken up. Now Larrabee counters. Up and over the net. Purbu tried to climb the ladder, didn't find it. Here's Service. He gets in on the forecheck, as does Larrabee. Creates some havoc. Puck turned over to Will Murray. Cycled down low. That's Larrabee from the corner. Back to Murray. Shot Purbu. Got the left pad there and keeps it away. Murray back to his own rebound. Down low for Larrabee. Left it to Service. Cushioned his man into the board. Turned over. Larrabee backing off. Didn't get much behind that shot. It'll be Lalonde in front. Duarte into the corner. Final ticks of the second. Lalonde to Bratney. And that brings a close to the middle frame of action here at the Leon Center tonight. And the Paladins were able to cut the offense down from the Queens Gaels. They kept it to just one, but they do get one and add to their lead as the Gaels are in front 3-0 off of Dalton Duarte's second of the game.
But much better in the second period, certainly the last 15 minutes after the Duarte goal to make it 3-0. That last sequence, last 30 seconds, Gaels with a couple really errant passes up the middle in their own zone. Gave RMC some extra chances. They could get them on net. Maybe they would have had a goal, but 20 minutes, they're still in it. For the Gaels, I think it's just gathering themselves and being a little less careless like they were in that second period.
RMC limited the Gaels' shots and kept the output to just one goal, but the Gaels do hold the edge. 3-0 after 40 minutes over the RMC Paladins on the 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup on OUA TV.
This dressing room to me represents the school of life. The old coach I had in the late 90s used to say overnight success takes time.
This is the best league I've played in by far. Guys are smart, guys are skilled. You've got guys that are here to play and can play. Everyone in this league can play.
I played in Niagara Ice Dogs and the Peterborough Petes, and also I was drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 5th round.
We expect our first years to contribute right off the bat. Starting from on ice, you have a chance to come in and play.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me in the recruiting process. Getting the chance to step in as a first year and contribute right away is big.
We ask a lot of our student athletes. We're a leadership college, so we expect everyone to be a leader. It's demanding, but it sets them up to be key members of that culture, and so they can be drivers of the bus and not just followers at the back. We don't just skate by, we skate through.
Being a small school in such a high level of competition for hockey brings a level of adversity, and I think that adversity creates bonds, camaraderie, and friendships that are so powerful. I think that this is what makes this program stand out from all others.
Kingston's a gorgeous city that our student athletes get to enjoy. It has tons of history. All the buildings on the exterior are very historic, but everything inside has been updated, and they are all state-of-the-art for the classrooms and dorm rooms, as well as our dining halls and our cadet mess where they can relax, watch TV, watch hockey games, play some pool. Almost all the dorm rooms have a sight line to the water. The campus is a one-stop shop. Might be one of the most picturesque campuses in Canada, with it being a peninsula in Lake Ontario.
Being on the peninsula, gorgeous. It's a university city, top to bottom. The city of Kingston is awesome.
As a cadet, tuition, room, board, food, it's all covered. So student athletes coming here, they come out debt-free. They actually receive a salary during the year. So when they graduate, they've actually made money for 4 years. We're one of the only universities in Canada that can guarantee 4 years towards your pension while you're at school and a guaranteed employment after. Within 10 years after graduation, we can guarantee that you'll be making 6 figures.
It was a no-brainer that I get to keep playing hockey. I get to pursue my childhood dream of flying planes.
They know they can come here, get an excellent education, and then go on to have an amazing career after having enjoyed, 4 or 5 years of exceptional hockey.
We have grads that are special forces. We have grads that have been the captain of our parachute team, the the Skyhawks and the Snowbirds. We also have a lot of alumni that have desk jobs within the military, whether it's doing finance, HR, policies, contracting. But then we also have very successful people that take that military experience and translate it into the private sector, whether they start engineering firms for themselves or work for big companies. Hockey team alumni that have opened breweries, pilots in the private sector. We also have Navy personnel that have captained ships and have sailed around the world, or they can be in the Air Force as pilots. So they're flying every aircraft, whether it's an F-18, a Herc, a Globemaster, or Cyclones helicopters.
I've wanted to be a pilot since I was a little kid. You know, the military crossed my mind. It opened a door to me that I'd never really thought about before.
We're very fortunate that we get the opportunity to play in 2 historic hockey games annually. Our first one is against Queens, and that game is actually the longest standing inter-university rivalry. Our second game is against West Point, an NCAA Division I team. That game is the longest standing international hockey rivalry in the world.
The Canadian Armed Forces versus U.S. Army, like that atmosphere is like nothing I've ever experienced before.
You know, when you put on that jersey, it's a great sense of pride because not only that you're representing RMC, but you're representing Canada, and you can't get that anywhere else.
RMC provides you with the skills that you need to become just an excellent Canadian citizen in whatever area you'll decide to work in.
I think RMC hockey is on the upswing, and I think the best years are ahead of us, and that's a challenge, and that's a challenge I'm really looking forward to.
The most successful people in life share one thing in common.
They all put themselves in a position to thrive.
Surrounded by people who challenge them to think bigger.
And communities that support them at every turn.
In the classroom.
And way outside of it.
If you want to set yourself up for success.
If you want to give yourself the tools to achieve any goal.
There's no better place to begin than Queens.
We challenge.
We support.
You succeed.
You'll be great, no matter where you go.
But your greatest story starts right here.
Where exceptional student athletes are born. Where records are broken. Where great plays are made. Where school colors ignite passion. Where champions prevail. Where tradition is celebrated. Ontario University Athletics.
dressing room to me represents the school of life. The old coach I had in the late 90s used to say overnight success takes time.
This is the best league I've played in by far. Guys are smart, guys are skilled. You've got guys that are here to play and can play. Everyone in this league can play.
I played in Niagara Ice Dogs and the Peterborough Petes, and also I was drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 5th round.
We expect our first years to contribute right off the bat. Starting from on ice, you have a chance to come in and play.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me in the recruiting process. Getting the chance to step in as a first year and contribute right away is big.
We ask a lot of our student athletes. We're a leadership college, so we expect everyone to be a leader. It's demanding, but it sets them up to be key members of that culture, and so they can be drivers of the bus and not just followers at the back. We don't just skate by, we skate through.
Being a small school in such a high level of competition for hockey brings a level of adversity, and I think that adversity creates bonds, camaraderie, and friendships that are so powerful. I think that this is what makes this program stand out from all others.
Kingston's a gorgeous city that our student athletes get to enjoy. It has tons of history. All the buildings on the exterior are very historic, but everything inside has been updated, and they are all state-of-the-art for the classrooms and dorm rooms, as well as our dining halls and our cadet mess where they can relax, watch TV, watch hockey games, play some pool. Almost all the dorm rooms have a sight line to the water. The campus is a one-stop shop, might be one of the most picturesque campuses in Canada, with it being a peninsula in Lake Ontario.
Being on the peninsula, gorgeous. It's a university city, top to bottom. The city of Kingston is awesome.
As a cadet, tuition, room, board, food, it's all covered. So student athletes coming here, they come out debt-free. They actually receive a salary during the year. So when they graduate, they've actually made money for 4 years. We're one of the only universities in Canada that can guarantee 4 years towards your pension while you're at school and a guaranteed employment after. Within 10 years after graduation, we can guarantee that you'll be making 6 figures.
It was a no-brainer that I get to keep playing hockey. I get to pursue my childhood dream of flying planes.
They know they can come here, get an excellent education, and then go on to have an amazing career after having enjoyed, 4 or 5 years of exceptional hockey.
We have grads that are special forces. We have grads that have been the captain of our parachute team, the Skyhawks and the Snowbirds. We also have a lot of alumni that have desk jobs within the military, whether it's doing finance, HR, policies, contracting. But then we also have very successful people that take that military experience and translate it into the private sector, whether they start engineering firms for themselves or work for big companies. Hockey team alumni that have opened breweries, pilots in the private sector. We also have Navy personnel that have captained ships and have sailed around the world, or they can be in the Air Force as pilots. So they're flying every aircraft, whether it's an F-18, a Herc, a Globemaster, or Cyclones helicopters.
I've wanted to be a pilot since I was a little kid. You know, the military crossed my mind. It opened a door to me that I'd never really thought about before.
We're very fortunate that we get the opportunity to play in 2 historic hockey games annually. Our first one is against Queens, and that game is actually the longest standing inter-university rivalry. Our second game is against West Point, an NCAA Division I team. That game is the longest standing international hockey rivalry in the world.
The Canadian Armed Forces versus U.S. Army, like that atmosphere is like nothing I've ever experienced before.
You know, when you put on that jersey, it's a great sense of pride, because not only that you're representing RMC, but you're representing Canada, and you can't get that anywhere else.
RMC provides you with the skills that you need to become just an excellent Canadian citizen in whatever area you'll decide to work in.
I think RMC hockey is on the upswing, and I think the best years are ahead of us, and that's a challenge, and that's a challenge I'm really looking forward to.
The most successful people in life share one thing in common.
They all put themselves in a position to thrive.
Surrounded by people who challenge them to think bigger.
And communities that support them at every turn.
In the classroom.
And way outside of it.
If you want to set yourself up for success.
If you want to give yourself the tools to achieve any goal.
There's no better place to begin than Queens.
We challenge.
We support.
You succeed.
You'll be great, no matter where you go.
But your greatest story starts right here.
Where exceptional student athletes are born. Where records are broken. Where great plays are made. Where school colors ignite passion. Where champions prevail. Where tradition is celebrated. Ontario University Athletics.
This dressing room to me represents the school of life. The old coach I had in the late 90s used to say overnight success takes time.
This is the best league I've played in by far. Guys are smart, guys are skilled. You've got guys that are here to play and can play. Everyone in this league can play.
I played in Niagara Ice Dogs and the Peterborough Petes, and also I was drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 5th round.
We expect our first years to contribute right off the bat. Starting from on ice, you have a chance to come in and play.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me in the recruiting process. Getting the chance to step in as a first year and contribute right away is big.
We ask a lot of our student athletes. We're a leadership college, so we expect everyone to be a leader. It's demanding, but it sets them up to be key members of that culture, and so they can be drivers of the bus and not just followers at the back. We don't just skate by, we skate through.
Being a small school in such a high level of competition for hockey brings a level of adversity, and I think that adversity creates bonds, camaraderie, and friendships that are so powerful. I think that this is what makes this program stand out from all others.
Kingston's a gorgeous city that our student athletes get to enjoy. It has tons of history. All the buildings on the exterior are very historic, but everything inside has been updated, and they are all state-of-the-art for the classrooms and dorm rooms, as well as our dining halls and our cadet mess where they can relax, watch TV, watch hockey games, play some pool. Almost all the dorm rooms have a sight line to the water. The campus is a one-stop shop, might be one of the most picturesque campuses in Canada, with it being a peninsula in Lake Ontario.
Being on the peninsula, gorgeous. It's a university city, top to bottom. The city of Kingston is awesome.
As a cadet, tuition, room, board, food, it's all covered. So student athletes coming here, they come out debt-free. They actually receive a salary during the year. So when they graduate, they've actually made money for 4 years. We're one of the only universities in Canada that can guarantee 4 years towards your pension while you're at school and a guaranteed employment after. Within 10 years after graduation, we can guarantee that you'll be making 6 figures.
It was a no-brainer that I get to keep playing hockey. I get to pursue my childhood dream of flying planes.
They know they can come here, get an excellent education, and then go on to have an amazing career after having enjoyed, 4 or 5 years of exceptional hockey.
We have grads that are special forces. We have grads that have been the captain of our parachute team, the the Skyhawks and the Snowbirds. We also have a lot of alumni that have desk jobs within the military, whether it's doing finance, HR, policies, contracting. But then we also have very successful people that take that military experience and translate it into the private sector, whether they start engineering firms for themselves or work for big companies. Hockey team alumni that have opened breweries, pilots in the private sector. We also have Navy personnel that have captained ships and have sailed around the world, or they can be in the Air Force as pilots. So they're flying every aircraft, whether it's an F-18, a Herc, a Globemaster, or Cyclones helicopters.
I've wanted to be a pilot since I was a little kid. You know, the military crossed my mind. It opened a door to me that I'd never really thought about before.
We're very fortunate that we get the opportunity to play in 2 historic hockey games annually. Our first one is
Final period of the Carr-Harris Cup on deck here at Leon Center with the Gaels out in front 3-0 thanks to a pair from Dalton Dewart and another from Darren Kapp. That is the offensive damage done by the Tricolors so far on 26 shots as they are out in front heading into the third and final frame of regulation. Alan Atmansky along with Bill Miklas here to take this one home for you. Shots on goal right now, 26-13 for the Queens Gaels, but they were 18-3 at the end of one. So that tells you just how much better in the second period the RMC Paladins were, but they will have to be exponentially better here in the third if they want to get back in this game. But they do have time to do so if they act quick, and they start off with a face-off win. Right down the middle, deflected in by Chris Paquette. Out comes Purbu. Shovel off to that right wing. Purbu has to play this one as it's in behind the net, and Saint can't jam it in. Far corner, there's Duff trying the long way around. Found Jacob Paquette, who walks it up and then goes diagonally down ice, and it'll be picked up and slapped in and scored. Jonathan Yancis on the spot makes it 4-0 Gaels with a laser.
Not sure there if RMC thought it was going to be icing, or they just seemed to allow the Gale player to get that carom, and Davis got caught by the one-timer. And for all the phenomenal saves he's made, that one gets by him, and that's a big one. 27 seconds in, and now you've grown the lead to 4-0. That puts RMC in a real hole.
I think you're right on the icing, Bill. I think it looked like the defenseman thought he had time, and then all of a sudden Johnny Yancis was there. And not only was he there, but he was Johnny on the spot as he knocked that one in past Michael Davis. And it's now 4-0 for the Gaels as they look to drive this one home in the 36th edition of the Carr-Harris. This one at the line has the Gaels taking it with RMC offside. Back at the Paladin zone, it's Hebert through the middle, deflected in by Broaders. Spratt locks up with Bratt and he strips him. Far corner, Spratt tried to center, was blocked. At the line, here's Hebert with a high sailing shot, and the Gaels clog the lanes there. Hamilton off of that deflection. It goes to Duhart, backdoor. Katzele backhanded, and Davis got just enough to send him flying through the crease.
Good poke check by the goaltender.
Eric Moreau patiently waits in there as the Paladins get themselves set up.
But here's the danger if you're RMC, Allen. They've got to try to go on the offensive, and Gaels are just waiting to pounce.
Michaud doing some good work on the boards. It comes at the line. The wrist shot is there from Stevenson, and Davis snared that one with the mitt. As the Paladins netminder now collects his 30th shot of this one. 26 stops to his name. Now look at the 30th one. We got a piece to keep that out. Draw coming up, far side of the ice. Good crowd at the Leon Center this evening to take this one in. Off the draw, it's just around the outside, and this will be Michaud for Robert. Pulls the stick of Pym off as he drove through. Trying to clear this one as Welton back to service, and then rink wide for Pym. Tried to go through the middle, it missed its mark. Tolnay for Perrick, now Robert. All the way across the zone over there to Stevenson, middle, Tolnay back for Perrick. He'll head behind his own net. I'm sure the Gaels would love just to nurse this one home. Slides a pass there, comes out of the offensive zone for RMC, so they will tag up. Coltart carries it back in. Him and Cap in a battle over there. They go do-si-do, and finally it comes free. There's Coltart for Paquette. Off a check, Paquette, little head fake, then he's flattened. Loose puck grabbed by Saint. He's to it. In front for Paquette, deflects wide left. McNaughton at the line. Tried to cut in sharply, but behind the play, knocked down was Austin Saint. And they're going to call Lucas Perrick for head contact. He's going to be given the heave-ho on this one, I think. A 5-minute major. So I didn't see that one. Maybe our camera people did. And we'll take a look at the replay here as they combed him right over top. And we have a great vantage point here. And the referee did come over. He said 5 minutes and gave Lucas Perrick the old see you later.
So here's a chance for RMC. You've got 5 minutes of 5-on-4 hockey. Down 4-0. If you're going to make this back into a hockey game, this is the opportunity.
It's your chance to cash in. As they start with possession, Spratt shot, that one comes through. All the way back down ice, it will travel off the rebound, and Welton giving chase with Tolnay there. Put it right on a platter for Tolnay, centered it, intercepted by the Paladins as Leduc went to Holtrop, but he couldn't cut in with Duff on him. Here's Duff. Space for Days, takes that and sends it for a ride. Out came Michael Davis over to Welton behind the net. Spratt returns it. Welton from the net. Walks it out slowly, leaves it for Spratt. Right wing side finds Leduc. Didn't like what was in front of him. Cut back across, and now Coltart for Broaders. Gives it over to Leduc. At the circle, Spratt was there. Couldn't get that one under wraps, and this one will be cleared by a diving Colton Cousins. Davis has to slide with the paddle. 60 seconds off of this major against Lucas Perrick. Come up the boards, Fox to the middle. Murray over to Paquette. He's got a step on Stevenson. Paquette cuts in. One-armed it. Purbu keeps that one out. Left wing side, Austin Saint. He's got some room to work with. Takes it. Ripped one off the outside of the net. Fans here thought it snuck through. Did not. Out at center, Coltart reaches this loose puck. Starts the wheels, goes left. Can he beat Stevenson? Does so. Back on it. Wrist shot. That one comes through and out the other side. Captain Paquette is there, but the net behind Purbu has dislodged, and so that will stop the progress.
So a little over 90 seconds gone on the 5-minute power play. A couple of good chances for RMC, but really nothing yet, and running out of time.
It's a whole lot of work and nothing to show for it right now for the Paladins. Spratt at the left point finds Leduc to the boards. Broaders overplayed it and then just bounces it in there. Spratt takes that one. Tried to cut through, could not. Duff lost it. At the left point, Leduc able to spin it around. They'll go to the circle. Broader shot deflected in. A second one off the crossbar. And it wouldn't have counted anyways, I don't think, as the net became loose.
RMC saying that Purbu did that, which would be a delay of game. Let's see if we can see it here. I don't think it was intentional. He's just sliding back and goes into the post. Now, having said that, he's been playing a lot of hockey this year. I think he knows his goal crease.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt that these are NHL quality pegs, NHL quality nets, so it takes a lot to dislodge them. But if we were at Constantine or the Memorial Center, I'd be inclined to think maybe, just maybe it happened. Goalies know the ins and bounces and outs of their own rinks. And I've seen more than one goalie in my day do that. Here the Gaels battle to get this one And they force it back to center ice. It's on the stick of Josh Spratt with half of the major gone against Lucas Perrick. This one is rifled down ice by the Gaels, and here to get it for RMC is Del Welton. Leduc way up for McNaughton. He got around Lalonde. Still has it, knocks Lalonde down in the process, but Lalonde falls on the puck. So now they'll have to dig this one out. Comes to the middle, there's Robert. Quickly carries it up ice. Gets to the blue line, chips it in softly. Paquette is there, bounced on him. Tried to go around the backboards, broken up. Coltart to McNaughton. Behind the net, there's Coltart again off that feed. Works this one down ice, dropped it. Here's Paquette. Effortlessly brings it in. On the wing. Lost it, cleared the other way by the Gaels. Queens doing a good job of taking away those entries by the RMC Paladins. They cannot get anything set up right now. It'll be Saint way up ice. Around Paquette as he's forced to take the long way. Now in the corner, Duff against the trio of Paladins. Knifing through was, I believe that was Colton Cousins, and down it will go. Again, Davis out to try to kickstart something. Finds Coltart, but he didn't have much to work with, and so he'll double back. Coltart back to Josh Spratt. He's going to try to slice through. Did so for the first pairing. The second one closed in on him as Duff and Paquette forced him off skates. Into the corner they go, digging away at it. It's a 3-on-2 battle. Paladins with numbers. They've got the support position as well. Finally, it's free. Smith on it, out to Welton. 50 seconds to go in the power play. Here's Welton down low. Little bank from Spratt goes out to the boards. It will be Leduc, shot in front, pulled in. Welton can't wrangle it. Cleared again by the Gaels. 30 seconds to go in the power play. It has been stuck in neutral and never got started. Davis there tricked Marburg behind the play, and the fans got a little chuckle out of that. Sent down ice. Out comes Davis again with Fowler in the perimeter. Light body. Got it to Pym. Deflected in by Mitch Larrabee. That one will ride off the dasher. Here's Nathan Fox. Collides with Lalonde in the corner. Power play now over. Paladins cannot convert on the major against Perrick. And that has got to take a bit of wind out of their sails as it goes down on Purbu.
And just one shot on goal, Allen.
Which tells you just how effective the penalty killers of the Queens Gaels have been. Hutchison around his man and back to it in the corner. At the line, here's Stevenson for Paquette. Clutched and then couldn't fire, just sends it around the outside. Doesn't want to get his shot blocked and have it come back on him. Stevenson down low, that's Yancis. Choked up Stevenson did to keep that one in. Floats it into the left corner, it's back for Fowler. At the line, Paquette shot, Davis a piece, it stays out. Paquette is there. Big bump from Moreau, got the pass to Yancis though, left it to Fowler. Tried to snap it back, intercepted. RMC the other way from center ice, that's Fox around the boards. Trying to find it was Purbu but could not. It's the alternate captain, Jacob Paquette, way down ice. Welton off that errant pass. Will go ahead to Saint. Comes through with it. Welton pushed it into the corner. There's Saint who gets bumped from Paquette. It'll be Jacob Paquette taking it. Duff at the goal line. Hits the brakes. Just patiently waits back there. Fired it to the line. Now McNaughton. He's flattened there as Duff explodes into him. Katzele brought Coltart down. The shot is out. Davis way out at the edge of the blue paint to take away the angle there and come up with a big stop. But the Paladins not done as they shove around in there.
Couple of big hits by the Gaels produce a nice chance.
Big hits being thrown, and it's the Gaels riding the wave of momentum. it's been a solid showing from the Queens Gaels as we have to look at some of those big hits here. And Katzele colliding with his man, Bruce Coulthard, at the blue line. And it was Coulthard initiating it, but Holden Katzele got the better there. All this happening, 10:40 to go in the third. The Gaels out in front 4-0. A look at what they're all playing for. The Lenny on the top of the Carr-Harris Challenge Cup trophy. As we mentioned earlier, it was one of the centennial trophies that they created, and it features the Lenny on top of it, which was sculpted by Kingston's own Joan Belch. Lennox Irving, the player that scored the lone goal in the first meeting between these two way back in 1886, which is why we say it's the oldest rivalry in hockey, going back to March 10th, 1886. February 8th, 2024 is when the 36th edition of this book has been written in the Carr-Harris Cup series. Queens with the edge in this 36-year tradition, and it's one that not just both teams get amped for, but really the Kingston community as well. As the Paladins slap this one up the boards and get it out to the neutral zone. Here's Duff trying to shake the check of Spratt. Instead, he brought Spratt down, and the puck rolls in to the wheelhouse of Christian Purbu, who smothers it. Faceoff will come on his blocker's side, I do believe, once they get it all situated in there. And indeed, that is the case, as Duhart and Spratt do battle again. It's knocked back at the line, and that will be pulled to the boards. High slot. Spratt comes in on his backhand. Can't fandangle much from there. It's taken by Broaders at the corner behind the net. Spratt tried to center, lost it to Duhart. He's got the legs going, but was run into the boards by Holtrop, who gave him an extra shot there, and that will be a penalty. And then again, Holtrop dumping Duhart, and over comes Jacob Bradney. All of this while there's a scrum behind the goal line to our left as well.
Wow, the Paladins are starting to get frustrated. It's been a tough night for them. Just can't get anything going in the way of momentum. I did not see how that started with Duhart, but certainly took a couple of shots there.
The battle between Duhart and Holtrop started back inside the Queens Gaels line, and Holtrop gave him a shot, and I think we might even maybe see it here as he passed it, and then Scott comed over there, and then it all escalated from that point. As they run it into the boards there, and I do see Holden Katzele in the box as he was involved in the scrum that happened to our left. Right,
Spratt as well.
So.
But it'll be interesting to see what they call, because there was also a second shot given to Duhart after the initial penalty was called. We explained to
Will Murray and Jack Duff getting the explanation from referee Brad Moore right now. They haven't got it up on the clock yet. And then finally they do. It's going to be 4 against Joe Holtrop, which makes sense. He gave the shot and then the extra shot.
And then the other two you would assume just saw off. So it'll be 4 on 3 for 2 minutes, and then 5 on 4 for 2 minutes. Which I think's the right call. I mean,
they're trying to keep control of this game as well, so I completely understand it. Will bring the face-off to the right of Michael Davis with 10:03 to go in the third. 4-0 Queens on top of the RMC Paladins. Annual Carr-Harris Cup game happening right in the heart of downtown Kingston. Head coach Richard Lim not happy over there at the RMC bench right now.
Well, I think again, I didn't see a lot of what was going on down there because I was focused on Duhart at center ice, but I think he's wondering how, from what happened down in the RMC end, the Gaels didn't get more.
Looking for more OUA hockey action, the Gaels host Ontario Tech at the Kingston Memorial Center this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. While the Paladins host the York Lions at Constantine Arena at 2 p.m.
So it looks like they are sending another body over to the box for the RMC Paladins. They've got Fox, Spratt, and Holtrop in right now.
So I guess it's 5 on, 5 on 3. So was there an extra 2? Maybe given to RMC, and that's what has Richard Lim upset.
They're still sorting it out over there. Officials earning their keep here this evening.
Well, and you think that possibly, as this one continues to go on with this score, you might see a little bit more frustration boil up.
Queens still has playoffs ahead, so they don't want to get into any of the silly stuff, and the Paladins don't want any suspensions that may hold over to next season. Both teams just the one regular season game left Saturday, both of them in action. RMC hosting York at 2 o'clock on Seniors Day over at Constantine Arena, and at the Memorial Center, the Queens Gaels are set to host their season finale as they welcome in the Ontario Tech Ridgebacks for a 7:30 clash over at the Old Girl on York Street. Officials got this all sorted and squared away. And it looks like it will be 5 on.
So there wasn't an extra 2 given. There were 2 players taken from RMC and just the one from Queens on the other skirmish down in the RMC end.
So from what I can gather, Spratt and Holtrop got minors, and then Fox and Catsley maybe sitting 10-minute misconducts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's hard to hear in here sometimes. At the dot, Robert off a one-timer teed it up.
Great read by Davis.
Duhart gives it off to Lalonde. Right circle, curling out is Hutchison. Backing off is Lalonde. Slides it to Yancis. Went through the slot, back at the blue line. Here's Lalonde. Over to that right circle, it's Duhart. Gave it to Hutchison. Spins, fires, missed the net there as it comes back to that left point. Eludes Lalonde. Down ice it goes. He's going to quickly steer it up ice though. Gave it just inside the line to Robert. Now Duhart. Lalonde. The paddle of Davis. Alertly got it down and steered that one out. It's Robert back to Duhart. He walks in. Shot blocked by Larrabee. He's got a chance, but Lalonde's going to take the inside route and beat him on that one. Duhart from center. Carries it in over the line and then sets up. Gave it to Michaud. Nice move there. Right side of the net. And great work by Coulthard to take Robert out of knocking that one in for a 2-foot putt. Purbu leaves it over for Paquette. Found Michaud at center, but he doesn't get it cleanly. It comes back to Jacob Paquette. Smith angles him away. The pass is there for Michaud. Spenis Jr. with the Niagara Ice Dogs lifts it in and gets it back himself. All the way around the outer boards for Hayden Fowler. Hits the point. There is Hamilton to Bratney, square on it Davis as he comes up with another stop for the red and white.
Good job by RMC on that 5-on-3. Really, Queens got some shots, but a lot of them from the perimeter. Davis could see them, or they got blocked.
Everybody out of the penalty boxes now as we get back to even strength hockey. 7:57 to go in this third period. They will set this up far side of the ice, and stepping in will be Cap against Paquette. Comes at the blue line, Bratney from way out late, deflection, and that one missed by mere inches, right side of the net. Light body just slaps it. Here is McNaughton trying to find it. Bratney to Cap and then slapped around again. Queens just trying to eat away the final 7.5 of this one. Bratney off the end boards over for Stevenson. He's pursued by Saint. Now Paquette, they get by both checks. Stiff arm from Marburg. Now Bratney to Stevenson, looking way up ice. Missed Cousins with that one. An icing charge against the Gaels.
So Holtrop is back in the box, so you wonder if the second hit on Duhart got him the 10 minutes.
Could have been, and then Spratt and
Just had
Katzele
2
had the
minutes.
offsetting minors.
Because they both came out at the whistle.
Another face-off coming up offensively for the RMC Paladins, and they win it. Coulthard at the point, Dregs fires, he got a piece of Purbu's shoulder as that one goes over the glass and into the netting. Starting to mount some shots, just the two so far in this period though. Back to the far circle. Done unfairly. They will drop it again, and hopefully this time they get it done evenly. Despite the scoreboard right now, the RMC faithful in attendance still quite jovial. Trying to kickstart things over there. Chance start to ring out. Now looks like we're good to go again, and it'll be Tolne and Spratt to get us started. They just lock each other up. It's kicked back and now in control by Michaud. He went around a check, lost the puck in the process. Paladins have it. Inside the line, that was Service trying to force the issue, but it comes to Jack Duff. He started to carry up and then blew a tire. Here's Paquette at center to Spratt, and then back it's roped into the Queen zone. Left wing side, here's Fox. Not able to do much from there. Michaud forces it back down the other way. It's lobbed up and over and out of trouble. Fox trying to split a pair of Gaels as he's brought down. In the corner, they kick it loose. Now Hebert off the blue line. That one got around him. Michaud to Katzele. Just carries the water here as he's chopped down. And they score! Michaud stuck with it, right side of the net. Everybody was watching behind, and he puts it into a Yanni cage and makes it a 5-0 Queens lead.
Frustration for Davis because of all the saves he's made tonight. But watch Katzele, didn't give up on it. Neither did his line mate, and just somehow got it by Davis.
I think everybody's still watching that play develop, and they were late to come back, and Michaud able to back in that one past Davis, who was down trying to take away the lower portion of the net.
So the Gaels look like they're going to lock up 4th place with this win. RMC now may make the goal trying to break the shutout.
Still a goose egg for Christian Herbu down to our right. On the season has 3 of them, so it's not in uncharted territories for him. Penalty off the opening face-off, and it's going to be Jonathan Yances who heads off, slashing the infraction. RMC with a late period power play. I think the way these games work, I think both teams get a practice here at the Leon Center before the game, so it's not completely unknown to the sides on what they're walking into. Here's Coltart for Paquette. Snapped it in there, and it goes awry and back to the RMC line. That's Austin Sain. He's clipped on that play, and Fowler the one getting him, and then a cross check for good measure. And we'll see what they call on this one. High sticking the infraction. Been a steady parade to both penalty boxes tonight. No question about that.
So if the Gaels hold on to this lead, it'd be the first shutout in this game since 2010. The Gaels had back-to-back years, 2009, 2010, when they shut out the Paladins. 3 times in all, the Paladins have been shut out in this game. The Gaels have not. But here's a great chance for RMC with the 5-on-3.
Saint to Paquette. Back to the circle, curling with it is Austin Saint. Down into the corner, Fox. Back to the line for Chris Paquette. Shot came in there, stays out. Paladins get the rebound on the boards. They have pressure though, and now Tolne able to get it out of that pressure, and down ice it will go. Out in the neutral zone, here's Fox to Chris Paquette. From the line, Coltart holding on to it. Left circle finds the captain. Over for Saint, off a stick and into the netting, so another stoppage here. RMC would love to break that goose egg right now. At this point, that's what you're playing for. Try to break that and then go from there. Some jockeying on the dots. Finally they get it down. Spratt for Leduc, and then over to Welton from the corner. That's Brent Broaders over for Devin Leduc. Powell River Kings. Devin Leduc in control right now on the left point. At the circle finds Spratt. Return, but the stick of a timely poke check from Cameron Tolne pushes this one back to the the RMC line. Here's Leduc, cut back, but everybody else had kept going in, and so that's offside against the home team.
Again, the Gaels, RMC staying on the perimeter. Gaels happy to have them there, and then just active sticks to get it out of the zone.
And they're just stacking it across the line, trying to force RMC to turn it over, and it's been successful. 8 seconds left in this 5-on-3. And then it'll be a shortened 5-on-4. Back it goes from Paquette to Coltart. And then Spratt at the line. Coltart kicks it up. Back to Spratt, over to Paquette, shot in there. Purbu looking behind him, but he's got it in the armor. 4:10 left in this third period. Paladins clawing back on the shot clock, but they have not been able to beat Christian Purbu. It's been a lot of, as Bill said, outside shots, nothing really in close except for maybe 1 or 2. battle on this face-off. And give Chris Paquette a win, light body. Coltart, he'll switch up. Paquette at the right circle, his shot missed. There's Will Murray on the rebound, he gets bumped around. Back and forth, he's gonna grind along the boards. Finally it's loose, Saint. 5 on 3, 5 on 4 now over. Fowler came out of the box like a missile. And here at center, it'll be just softly back from Paquette to light body, and then right wing side missed. Lifted back to the Paladin side of center where light body gets it. Paquette. Right on the tape of Katzele. Coming onto it was Bratney. His shot pushed away by Michael Davis and into the netting. So they will drop it in the RMC zone with 3:19 to go in the third.
Hasn't been almost 60 minutes of great hockey by the Gaels, but certainly clinical. Have gotten the lead and just stayed on top of RMC. And for RMC, they've had moments each period where they've tried to get some pressure, but just haven't been able to finish.
Get a bit of a dog pile over there as a DDT from Liam Service thrown on Owen Lalonde as a helmet goes flying up the ice. Frustration coming out. Off will go Liam Service, and I would think maybe a double minor perhaps. High sticking against Lalonde, roughing against Service is the call.
More open ice out there.
Lots more open ice if we haven't had enough tonight. Dropped into the boards. They try to work it from the perimeter, but the Gaels protect that home plate area well. Jacob Paquette for Yancis, who has one tonight. Took a whack on his way in from Broaders. That's going to be a penalty. Jacob Paquette off the skates of Chris Paquette. Gaels in control. Here's Yancis scores!
Wow, and that's great revenge for Yancis because he took a hard whack from the RMC player and had drawn the penalty, but the Gaels just took the extra player on the ice when Purvu got to the bench, and now unfortunately we're getting some stuff thrown onto the ice.
And I don't even know what it is being thrown on the ice.
I think it's Gaels' towel.
He's got a pair. Dalton Dewart's got a pair. Darren Kapp has one. And they continue to rain out from the crowd here at Leon Center.
Towels seem like a great idea before the game starts.
Looks like they've got it all cleaned up, so we're set to go. 2:44 left. Still 4 on 4 here. Kicked ahead by Dalton Dewart. Tried to hit Hutchison, it was blocked. Out to the right wing side, light body right in on Purvu, loose rebound. Welton teed it up, and Purvu got that too. Yancis extends the lead for the Queens Gaels. They are firmly in the driver's seat now. Off the wing, Hutchison to the middle, blocked by McNaughton. He had his stick lifted. I was wondering why they were throwing out the towels. I thought maybe I missed a third goal from Jonathan Yancey, but it wasn't. They got Darren Kapp, Daniel Michaud, a pair from Duarte, and a pair from Yancey. That makes 6. I was counting in my head. Thought
So
I missed
2
something.
goals get you the towel, 3 goals get you a hat.
I'm sure they'll have to come up with something for that. As Paquette doubles back for the Gaels with just a shade over 90 seconds left in this one. The Gaels are going to take this edition of the Carr-Harris Cup, the 36th one. Here's Michaud around, and then in front off a skate over the net. Paquette hops out of the way of a check. Gets it to Smith. Rink wide, nobody home. There's Bratney scrambling on it. Finds it down that left wing. Back to Colton Cousins. He looks for some space, and then he'll take the long walk back to his own zone. Bratney not able to take that one cleanly. He's run right into by Hebert. This is Michaud. One-timer from Duff, missed the net. Picked off by Michaud over into the corner. That is Hamilton. To Robert, tried his luck from the slot, but was stuffed. Now Michaud wanted to pull it in, but lost it. Taking it is Liam Service. He cuts back. Tried to go the long route. Here's Hebert. Backhanded. Fox tried to pull it in, missed. With it is Bratney. 30 seconds to go. Middle of the ice. Taking this one will be Cap. He got the party started way back in the first period. Hamilton, high sailing shot. That's going to be the glove of Michael Davis that finds it, and he makes another save. Big thanks to yourself, Bill, for joining us on this broadcast here this evening.
My pleasure, Alan. It's always a great game, Carr-Harris Cup. I know it doesn't show it tonight on the scoreboard, but the intensity in this matchup every year is wonderful.
There's a face-off that is slapped down ice, and it will wind up the final 10 seconds of this edition of the Carr-Harris Cup. One that the Gaels grabbed the early lead in back in the first period, never relinquished and never looked back from in a big tune-up before their season finale on Saturday, and Christian Purbu picks up his 4th shutout of the season.
Wow, it was that second goal by Duarte at the 5-minute mark of the second period that I think was really the backbreaker. RMC down 2-0 after 1, but the goaltender had kept them in. They could have gotten the next goal. Would have been a really interesting game. Duarte gets it.
There's only
never looks back.
There's only 2 goalies that are better than Christian Purbu in the OUA right now. One is Alexis Gravel out of UQTR. The other is Frankie LaPena in Ottawa. But a sparkling performance from Christian Purbu tonight, making 16 stops for the shutout, is going to go a long way towards narrowing the gap between he and the other 2 that he is chasing down. And a couple of big nights for Jonathan Yancey with a pair, Dalton Duarte with a pair, Daniel Michaud and Darren Kapp also cashing in on the scoring as the Gaels take the 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup here at the Leon Center. A big thank you to yourself, Bill, and our crew here at the arena, bringing this game to everybody at home. And I'm Alan Atmansky saying goodnight from Kingston. You've been watching the Paladins and Gaels 36th edition of the Carr-Harris Cup on OUA TV.